We're going to go ahead and get into a few things here. All right. There was this interview that Cam Newton, former football player, used to did on his YouTube channel. Looks like everybody from the sports world is taking the advice at least a decade too late, but some of them making a go of it here. Cam Newton's doing his best to do his Shannon Sharp impersonation. We'll see how it takes off. He's found a playmate. Her name is Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. And what this demonstrates is the utter futility of having two clueless people who are hopelessly convinced that their ignorance is in fact enlightenment. And I am not being hyperbolic. I mean, that's literally what it was. I'm going to go ahead and play for you the intro here. I'm going to try to show the video, though we all know that YouTube persecutes me for anything and everything. But I'm going to go ahead and try to show you this here, just the beginning of their interaction. A lot of folks have talked about this, and I had a few things in particular I wanted to go into. So I just wanted to show you what their intro is.
The healing is going to say, do you want to be here? The pain is going to say, you need to be here.
The reality is nobody wants to find somebody who's worth going to hell for.
No man can take a woman and transform her. You're not God. You can never take water, baby, and make this 7-Up. Women with daddy issues don't mean you got to be with your daddy.
Single people can't coach relationship people.
Cam, if it went over your dreadlocks, bring it back.
If the man doesn't have high value.
Women come and lead with, fit this, or you have no value. Men come in and go, all right, I'm here, and I'm going to learn how to be the best I can for you. Oprah's power. You think Stedman's low functioning or low value?
Nobody's making Oprah money.
Stedman is not low functioning. Oprah's not.
Stedman is not low value either. Everybody's low value compared to Mama O.
All I can say is statements like that indicate, no offense, Cam, but if you couldn't play football, what would you be doing today? You would not be where you are socioeconomically if there were not a National Football League to give it to you. Because if you had to use that intellect and parlay that intellect into anything of value, yeah, you'd be one of the Hotep dudes sitting on the street corner of 125th Street, babbling and bumbling. So thank the Lord, in your case, that there's an NFL that you could go to, because without that, yeah, you'd be another one of these bumbling guys out there, and it would be obvious. So without a football league, there's not a lot of there.
I would be a fool think.
That's not always the case. I have, at some point, dated a man who is low value.
What was he providing you?
The functionality.
The functionality?
The what?
Functionality.
That's what you want at 35, baby. Have you been to Africa?
You know Wakanda only come in Wakanda packages. I'm in Atlanta, baby. This is Africa. I'm not married. My desire to get married is lower than my fear of divorce. I have beautiful children.
How many?
8.
I didn't do my research. I thought it was 4, but 8, okay.
No, baby. It's
By how
8.
many women?
3. And this is the kicker. I want more. Would you consider me a high value man?
High valued or high functioning?
Yeah, speed.
I'm poking speed.
We going there. Hold on. Let me take.
All right, I think that's enough from Tweedledum and Tweedledummer, quite frankly. This is what happens when individuals who don't really have a frame of reference attempt to speak about something here, and they are full of logical fallacies. They say things that seem otherwise accurate or intelligent, but they're actually overbrimming with logical fallacies. And these are two people who are incapable of deciphering how it is that what they're saying isn't actually logical, because they don't get it and can't get it. I'm going to touch on a few things here, not the high value thing yet. We gonna come to that. I want to start from the beginning here and replay that again so you all can hear it this time here. So we're trying to avoid any copyright issues, because you know YouTube loves to target me. Let me go ahead and start this over again here.
The healing is going to say, do you want to be here? The pain is going to say, you need to be here.
All right. The repository of nothing would-be mental health specialists everywhere in the modern era. We don't have female mental health specialists anymore. We don't. We have a never-ending gaggle. Look it up. we have a laughable parade of would-be pseudo-intellectual psychobabblers who are recycling phrases that they've heard that resonate with them, but don't actually mean anything because they can't give it a definition, and it doesn't have one. So you hear catchphrases, healing, find my peace, my journey, healing, peace, journey. These are coping words, not actual statuses. They're coping words. However, we're in the era now of not very informed people. They're not very enlightened at all, and certainly not very well informed. So they grab phrases and cliches, and then they just run them through the ringer until they're looking like worn out rubber. But what she said doesn't mean anything. Healing, what is that? They can't actually tell you what it is, and nobody ever says it. If they tell you that healing is get better, then the question then becomes get better from what? So she first tells you about healing, which is your first sign that you are not really listening to an informed mental health professional. You're listening to a would-be social influencer who is saying the type of language that they think that their audience will respond to. No wonder there's so many females out there who are screwed up. Ladies, the reason that men do not want to go to, quote, therapy with you is because this is the kind of chick you're going to get comfortable with. A female like this, she's the one, oh yes, we're right there. You go, girl. Someone completely incapable of resolving anything. They'll talk in wonderful, fantastic circles, but she's not actually saying anything. Just the usual girl boss cliches, psychobabble cliches, not meant to go anywhere. And that's the point. You really think she said something. She literally didn't say anything. So there's the reason that men do not want to go to therapy with you, because men understand that you should go to a place to go get fixed. You shouldn't go to a place to get placated or pandered to. If you have an issue, and if you're going to therapy, then both of you have issues. We want somebody who's going to tell us, you ain't got no issue except them folks over there. Okay? That's not helpful.
The reality is nobody wants to find somebody who's worth going to hell for.
No man can take a woman and transform her. You're not God. You can.
Okay, let's go to silly comment number 2. She said that no man can take a woman and transform her. Well, then in that case, a woman has no need for a man, because you cannot admire someone who, A, cannot do something you cannot do. Let me say it again, that they are incapable of doing something that you are also incapable of doing. You look up to somebody who is capable of doing something that you are incapable of doing. You don't look up to somebody who is incapable of doing something that you yourself are incapable of doing. A woman at her core desires a man that she can admire. That's what they call swag or whatever, but she's looking for a man that she can look up to, not one that she looks across to, damn sure not one she looks down from. She's looking for a man that she can admire, a person who can do things and is things that she isn't, so that he can take up where her father left off. That this is a man, because he does things with you your father doesn't do. He is going to show you things your father and the rest of your family and the rest of the world could never show you. By definition, you're looking to be changed. Now, you can call it growth, you can call it development, but you're looking for someone who's going to make a better woman out of you. By definition, Dr. Bryant, you can't be a better person and simultaneously be the same person. Hope that cleared it up for her. I know it won't. I'm just trying to give you all the Cliff Notes version of all these logical fallacies that you understand. By the way, yeah, that kind of doesn't make sense. Now you understand why it doesn't make sense. Yes, the part that's missing is if you're denying that a woman wants to grow and develop, then by definition, a man who is a complete integral being is going to have the secret sauce that she doesn't, that she lacks. Now he can take her to the next step of her development because she knows that's missing. By the way, if you like tonight's program, give me the green check mark emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. We got over 1,200 people in here live in just the first 10 minutes. If you like tonight's program, go ahead and do that. If not, we'll go ahead and wrap it up early. I did just want to go ahead and touch on a few things there. Let me go to the next part.
Never take water, baby, and make this 7-Up. Women with daddy issues don't mean you got to be with your daddy.
Okay, the problem is that when they talk about their fathers, let me tell you, ladies, the worst thing you can do is invoke your dad to a man that you want to be your protector, provider, and leader. We have absolutely no desire whatsoever to be your father. We have absolutely no desire whatsoever for your father's programming. If we've approved of you, we're glad you got to the point where you are, but we don't need your daddy. We don't need any mentoring from him. We don't need any pointers from him. We don't need any advice from him. We got this. See, as a woman, you don't want to hear a man tell you about how his mama does things or how his mama did things or what his mama did for him. Well, guess what? We take on a whole lot more liability. We don't need any pointers from your dad. We don't need any pointers. We don't need any insight. We don't need any advice. We don't need nothing. We got this. So when you start telling us about how your daddy did things, just understand all you're doing is offending us. We don't need to take no hints from him. Period. Because we're not looking to do with you what he is. You don't serve the function in our life that he served in yours. So put that in your little steamer trunk and pack it up and roll it out. But sitting up here talking about the way your daddy did things, that doesn't carry nothing here. You are under new management. What? What your daddy does and how he does it don't matter. You're under new management now. You're under this set of protocols. The only thing your daddy can do now is back our play. The only thing he can do now is back our authority. He can't really do nothing beyond that. The only thing you can talk to me about your daddy for is about how he agrees with my program. That's all you can do, your daddy can do at this point, is back our play. So if you invoke your daddy and it doesn't end with, and he says everything you say is right, okay, well then we don't give a damn what you're saying. We're not listening because it has no value.
Single people can't coach relationship people.
Okay, here's where Cam Newton sits up here and Cam turns into Cam Nitwit. Let's be clear about a couple of things here. It's not about whether or not you are single. That's a logical fallacy. They're using deceptive language because they don't know, but they're using deceptive language. They're using deceptive language. By the way, I want to show this on the screen really, really quickly here. No offense, Dr. Bryant. Couldn't help but notice them arms. Damn. Just saying. So, alrighty then. Wonder how many times she's given birth. She'll tell you she never has. Them look like maternity arms to me, but okay. Let's go ahead and dissect that little statement here again one more time. When you're talking about what single people can do, this isn't about are you single, this is about desirable. Now, you all know that every time some nitwit lame brain out there tries to jerk out the, well, Jason, you ain't never been married thing. How you gonna speak on married people? I'm not speaking on married people. I'm speaking on behalf of the single men who are available. I'm speaking on behalf of the single desirable men who are available and why we're not hurting anybody to get married. not the guys who are married and are no longer on the field and no longer have a frame of reference. I'll speak for the ones who are still out here. Yikes, can't argue with that one. So Cam, it's not about are you single? It is about are you desirable? And Cam is not to wife material. He's not thought material, baby mama material, drug through the gutter material. That's what Cam has lowered himself to. But he doesn't speak for men who are looking for any type of competent wife material. He doesn't speak for them. And he's no longer eligible. Now, the other thing is, he's no longer eligible. All he is a walking paycheck and a bunch of problems with a bunch of women. But Cam's no longer available. He's speaking from the standpoint of, well, look at all these thoughts who would love to have sex with me. Yeah, because they all see you're an easy mark and a sucker. I'll come back to that here in just a moment.
Cam, if it went over your dreadlocks, bring it back.
If the man doesn't have high value,
Women come and lead with fit this, or you have no value. Men come in and go, all right, I'm here, and I'm going to learn how to be the best I can for you. Oprah's power. You think Stedman's low functioning?
Isn't that amazing? Now, did you hear what she said there? Women, we come with, you men, you need to fit this or it ain't. And the men, I need to learn how to be the best for you. So did you see the little warped psychology she just tried to spring in there? Did you see that? She literally sits up there and tells you that the women are all right like they are, and you need to get with their program. And the women know what they want and what they need, and all you need to do is you the one need to figure out where you gonna be. No, literally.
I'm here, and I'm going to learn how to be the best I can for you.
She didn't say that we're going to learn how to be the best or that a woman has anything to learn. No, the men need to learn.
Dreadlocks, bring it back.
if the man doesn't have high value,
Women come and lead with fit this, or you have no value.
So the women are telling the men, you need to fit this or you have no value. Okay, so you're dictating to men what the men have no value. Okay, what about the men?
Men come in and go, all right, I'm here, and I'm going to learn how to be the best I can for you.
I'm going to learn how to be the best I can for you. Learn from whom? Because she said that you can't transform a woman. Now she's articulating how women transform men. So if you listen to this feminist thought babble, what? Just recognize it when she's supposedly got a PhD or whatever. She's a doctor of something. I just wanted you to listen right there. It's like, okay, how many fellas are lined up and chomping at the bit to jump into that situation? She's not talking about a man leading anything. There's the bottom line, is that in her world, men don't lead anything. Why? Men are responsible, but they don't lead. So I just want you to see where the little trick bag is, where the logical fallacy is. Well, as a man, you can't lead nothing now. You're going to be responsible, and you have responsibilities, but you don't have authority. Okay. In the chat room, they were not praising her except to the extent that she was seemingly taking Cam to task for his bastard baby making. That was all. Other than that, they were just praising her plunging neckline.
Oprah's power. You think Stedman's low functioning or low value?
nobody's making Oprah money.
Stedman is not low functioning.
And
Oprah's not.
Stedman is not low value either.
Okay. Stedman is both low functioning and low value. Damn. Well, I'm saying you got these two people here, and this is why corporations like Google and Facebook, Meta, they'll boost completely clueless ignoramuses like these. They'll do that. knowing that this is creating nothing but confusion and that they're saying utter nonsense, this is what they boost now. This is what they boost. This is what they blow up. Absolute illogical gobbledygook, but this is what they're blowing up. And you just heard that idiocy. Stedman Graham is low value and Stedman Graham is low functioning. The reason for that is because Stedman Graham for the last 40 years has been the subordinate to a deficient woman. First of all, you cannot be a man of value if you're subordinate to your woman. You're not leading. Stedman Graham doesn't strike anybody as being masculine, much less alpha. Stedman hasn't had it, doesn't have it today, and it's not on its way. He has always played the background to her. You have never once seen Oprah Winfrey express that she admires him. Not as a man, certainly not as a producer. He is looked down upon by her friends, her audience. There's nobody, not even Oprah, who looks up to Stedman in any capacity. You've never heard any males anywhere say, I want to be like Stedman Graham when I grow up. I want to have the type of relationship that Stedman got with Oprah. You've never heard it. You have a broken, psychologically damaged individual like Oprah Winfrey, psychologically messed up and screwed up, emotionally destroyed, and he's been sitting there for 4 decades and she's never even given him children. What has been the point of this 4-decade crazy, whacked out adventure? What was the point? In the chat room, you said Stedman's the woman in the relationship. Calling him the woman would be flattering. Damn! To say he's the woman in the relationship would be flattering. Gotta see if there's something different. Stedman is really just the pet. Stedman is the man pet. He's not even a man child. He's a man pet. However, what he also is a symbol. Understand, to folks like Dr. Bryant there, she would love to hold that up because Stedman is submissive to Oprah. In other words, he's not an emotional threat. He'll tolerate whatever she does. He'll suffer whatever insults, whatever indignity. He doesn't check her on anything. A man who cannot correct you cannot lead you. You've never once heard Oprah talk about how Stedman has corrected her. Told her how she was messed up, and then she changed what she was doing. But then again, Dr. Bryant, will sit up here and tell you, you can't change no woman. Okay, well, what kind of man is she looking for? A man who will submit to her. And then the man who does, she will immediately turn around and condemn him and mock him. So this woman up here with Cam Newton, who keeps talking over Cam all the time, though. Talk about being about as ladylike as a crocodile. Other than her BBL and various other implants, not a lot of femininity going on here. Not a lot of femininity going on. So Stedman is neither high value nor high functioning. Stedman is an example of what happens when a buck-broken man meets a domineering female who psychologically and emotionally dominates him, humbles him, and submits him for the rest of his life. Stedman is everything that even marginally sensible men don't want to be. That's the issue. No men want to be Stedman. And neither one of these two cupcake ignoramuses figured that out. Let's hear it for the folks that the corporate media structure likes to promote.
Everybody's low value compared to Mama O. I would be
Everybody's low value compared to Oprah. Cam, the money must be running low because you kissing ass too much, bro. To say something that's silly and stupid, bro, you going out of your way. So all I can imagine is the money running low. You all have to understand, and I, as a person who operates among these kind of folk here, I can tell you, I told y'all, they're always looking for their next gig. They're looking for the next hookup. They're looking for the next networking. So they say all kinds of pandering, idiotic silliness in the hopes that they'll be eligible for some benefits, that they'll be eligible for some investment, that they'll be eligible for something in the future. I don't have that problem, so I can just go ahead and say it like it is. But I want y'all to understand, these folks that y'all think make a bunch of money, in reality, they spend a bunch of money. I've warned you about that when folks say married men make more. No, they just spend more. And once they get started doing that, they can't get off of it. And then when things go south, like you're no longer playing in the league, but you got 8 kids by 3 different women. Yeah, you gonna make a career of kissing ass because you don't have the league anymore. You need a new sponsor.
Fool.
But that's
That's
not always the case. I have at some point dated a man who is low value.
What was he providing you?
The functionality.
The functionality?
The what?
Functionality.
When she talked about that guy, by the way, he wasn't leading anything. So she said dating him. Dating means having sex with him, ma'am.
Auntie, chill.
That's not a compliment. I was dating a man. No. You was sexing a man. You was laying up with a man. You were not in a situation where he was leadership. No. So ladies, got to read the mail. They throw that little word out there. That means you was throwing them legs open for a dude. But that's all it means. You can use the word dating. You was laying up with a fella, but he wasn't leading you.
That's what you want at 35, baby. Have you been to Africa?
You know Wakanda only come in Wakanda packages. I'm in Atlanta, baby.
Okay, and Atlanta's troubles just tripled.
This is Africa. I'm not married. My desire to get married is lower than my fear of divorce.
Okay, well, first of all, folks say that Cam is a preacher's kid. So let's just hear for these preachers out here. You want your kids to get messed up, bring a preacher into the equation. These psychopathic, narcissistic egomaniacs who sit up here and swear to you that God has spoken to them. And then next thing you know, this is what their version of God creates. So I'll let that speak for itself.
I have beautiful children.
How many?
8.
I didn't do my research. I thought it was 4, but 8. Okay.
No, baby.
Cool.
It's
By how
8.
many women?
3. And this is the kicker. I want more. Would you consider?
What type of female would look at a torrid, sexual degenerate who's got 8 kids by 3 different women? Oh, there are women who will do it. The question is, what kind would do that? Who wants to line up to be baby mama number 4? What caliber of female would want to do that? Cam can sit up here and say he wants more kids. He can sit up here and say about attracting females. Yeah, Cam, what kind are you attracting? Now, there's the part you're leaving out. By the way, what kind are they? What level of character are they? Because what do you have to offer? You don't have any masculine leadership to offer. As I've told you all now, going on 2 decades, a man cannot be the head of household in 3 different households. Now, you can be a sponsor of 3 different households. You can trick off your check at 3 different households. You cannot be the masculine authority figure in 3 households simultaneously. You can only sleep under 1 roof tonight. You can't sleep under all 3. And that means when your kids wake up in the morning, they either waking up with a mama or with a different man, but they're not waking up to you. So your kids are waking up to another, at best to a woman's authority, and at worst to another man's authority. That's what Cam Newton's logic and decision making led to. That's what he's ended up with. His decision making and his leadership ability got you here. Hey, Cam, I think you were saying something about single people who shouldn't be giving out advice. I think you were just thinking about yourself.
Consider me a high value man.
High valued or high functioning?
You're speeding.
I'm poking
We
speed.
going there. Hold on.
Do you consider me a high value man? Cam, spoiler alert, my dude. If you have to ask somebody, if you're a high value man, that's your first clue that you aren't one.
Nigga, please.
Yeah, Cam, your first clue that you're not one is if you have to ask. Certainly if you have to ask a woman sitting next to you. Yeah, if you got to ask, you're actually not. And you know it. I'm not saying that to down him. There are actually very logical, clear-cut reasons for this. Cam just told you what the reasons were. He said he's got 8 kids by 3 different women. A man of value values most of all his genetic legacy. Your genetic legacy, the more valuable something is, the more exclusive it is. Cam Newton's willingness to procreate with women is not exclusive. As a matter of fact, he is more common and more of a commodity than even the average male is. So Cam is not only not high value, he's low value. And he's demonstrated that because his genetic legacy is not exclusive. As a matter of fact, it's up for grabs. By his own admission, by the way, he's operating in a very weak gutter female mentality that I want more kids. Dude, that's what hoes and hood rats do. Valuable men don't even think that thought. A valuable man is supposed to be concerned about how he concentrates his focus to make sure that he is raising young men and young women who can take over what he's built so that everything that he built in his lifetime doesn't just turn to ashes as soon as he's gone. Cam will never be able to do that because he's gotten a whole bunch of chicks pregnant, but he's not leading anything. And the fact that that's all that he thinks of his genetics, that's the most he thinks of it. Well, dude, you're low value, like Pookie and Ray Ray and Mike and Lil Slug and Catfish and Cornbread. That's it. You're Cam Cornbread Newton. You were lucky enough to get an NFL contract for a minute, and that was the apex of your life. We're literally looking around to see what you've done independent of football, and other than make a bunch of illegitimate kids and nothing. So you are high income, at least you were, but you're low value. And the issue is that now that you're a single parent, y'all gotta understand, I told you this, single parents are like a disease. Not even like cancer. Cancer just sticks itself to one person and that's it. They're like a communicable disease. They're like Ebola. They're like COVID. Highly contagious. They're looking for somebody else to infect. You'll notice the single parents, the first thing they go look for somebody who's childless.
Alrighty then.
Single parents don't gravitate to other single parents like a disease and a vector. Well, they're looking for some place that is fertile ground for them. So single parents go looking for folks who don't have any kids because they understand being with a single parent is a damn disaster. They can look at their own lives and see that. So when you hear him, he's looking for a chick who ain't got no kids. Now, at this point right now, he'd probably have kids with any tramp who slithers into the room because in for a penny, in for a pound. but they're just looking for somebody new to infect, and preferably somebody who's a clean slate. Okay, but by definition, you're going to have to go find a weak, low value individual, because somebody who is not weak and is not low value is not going to sit up here and take a downgrade by being with you. What does a female gain by being with Cam Newton? What does she gain? What does she get? You know full well the baby mama drama is out this damn world. You know full well he's constantly getting hit up about what the kids need. And in the words of the singer Tyrese, all these hoes try to do is convert child support into alimony. They get pregnant by you professional football dunces because they know they can go convert child support into alimony. Now they keep going back to court and hitting you up and threatening to take you back to court, and we're going to hit you up some more. And so you spend all your damn time trying to stay one step ahead of the man. That's all you spend your time doing. Them chicks got they damn hooks into you basically until your middle age, man. They ain't never going to go away. Imagine 8 kids out there weighing on your finances, weighing on your productivity, weighing on your freedom. And then when they get grown and they're getting into trouble and getting into garbage, that's your damn name. That was it. That's it. Cam is talking from the cesspool that he has inhabited. He's not talking from the real world. High value doesn't mean high income. Now, usually that is one dimension, but you all see how Cam went for that. Cam, what do you have of high value other than your income? So Cam needs the playing field to be that low, because he knows, what else does he offer a woman other than to be a walking paycheck? What does he offer? Leadership, insight, upgrade, maturity. Nigga, please. What does Cam Newton offer a woman? What is it that when a woman sits and talks to him, she's like, oh, this is what he's offering. Remove his income completely. And what else does she get to name off that she sees also has an equal value? Very glad you said that in the chat room there, EJ. So glad you said that. I'm going to go ahead and open up the Zoom for you here, because I think that people need to hear you elaborate on that further. So let me go ahead and throw that link up for you here so you can go ahead and join us. By the way, for any of you out there who may disagree or otherwise, you can go ahead and give us a call up on Zoom. Yes, we're very glad you had that to go ahead and say. So by all means, I definitely want you to go ahead and join us for that. And EJ, here's the link for you. Let's go ahead and pin that to the top of the chat. And EJ, we're going to give you 3 minutes to go ahead and dial us up here on Zoom so you can go ahead and explain all of that to everyone. Might as well go ahead and let them all in on your insights. This is the thing that I like about what we do. I like this because if people do say things like that, unlike Cam Numbskull Newton, we can go ahead and give them the opportunity and the ability to immediately go ahead and elaborate. Here's the great psychological schism. Usually when people read comments in the comment section or comments under a video, you're reading them in your own voice. So you're telling yourself that whatever you're reading would be articulated the way you would. I've always found it to be most useful to get those people to articulate for themselves so you can find out, first of all, did it sound the way you thought it would? Did it sound the way you thought it would? Or did it sound like something else? And then you start asking yourself, oh boy, was this really working out the way I thought it would? Now, this can be a difficult thing to have in mind here. This can be a difficult thing. This can be difficult because in the modern era, what you're noticing is a lot of people are looking to get something for nothing, but they're also looking to live vicariously. They're also looking to do that. And in their relentless pursuit of living vicariously, they overlook a lot of things. They overlook a lot of stuff. They ignore a lot of things. You cannot be a leader in 3 separate households, in 3 separate parts of a city, much less 3 separate parts of a nation. You cannot be the head of household in all 3 of those places. You can throw money, you can throw a check. You can't be leading. You can't. A man of high value, the only reason that he wants that, the only reason that any of us pursue power, wealth, and influence as men is so that we can establish a dynasty, so we can establish a legacy. We're not doing it because we're bored. We're doing it because it is an example and an illustration of how we see our value. So no man goes off and makes a bunch of money so he can go trick it off when you have value. He's doing it not for himself, but he's doing it, listen carefully now, he's doing it for his name. Damn! He's doing it for his name. Now, here's where we have been disserved in modern society. It used to be that when a man achieved things, he actually had to be competent. That's why you had to know how to swing a sword. You had to be useful in that regard. You couldn't really hook and crook your way through life. You actually had to earn it. Even if you stole it, you had to earn that too. And so inevitably what would happen is that once you have gained something of value, once you've gained resources, you are now characterized by 2 particular physical / economic / social assets: your lands and your titles. Now, primarily that goes to the Old English tradition, but it actually predates that, quite frankly. You can actually see the precursors of that going back all the way to ancient Egypt and before. Of your lands and your titles, because those are valuable things. But never forget the reason why. It's a very simplistic way of looking at things, but from mankind's historical and primitive perspective, we can't help it. You assume that a man's genetic offspring, because it literally came from him, something that his friends and the neighbors' kids cannot claim. His genetic offspring are literally have his blood running through their veins. They literally have his DNA running through them. So you assume that if he is a man who has achieved any level of greatness, that his children inevitably, they've literally physically inherited that because they are literally the physical replication of him. So you assume that they got the edge in that regard. By the way, EJ, I do not see you on Zoom. EJ was very eager to weigh in. By all means, if you're going to say things like that, you should be equally as eager to speak up when you've been given an opportunity. So, EJ will not be joining us here. There's no need to get any more. Since you will not defend your own statements, there's no reason for you to make any more statements. We assume naturally that if you have inherited your father's blood and your father's genes, that there must be something special about your father that gets passed down to the children. After all, you look like him and some of your mannerisms are like him. So maybe what it is that made him what he is inherent in you and has been passed down and replicated in you. That is what people have always assumed, always hoped, that if you did find somebody who had something great about them, that it wouldn't just disappear just because they did a little thing like die. That it would still be there and still be preserved so that it could serve the generations going forward. That's what we've always hoped. We also understand that that's not necessarily true. But it's what we've always assumed. So that's why a man's lands, his physical and financial resources, and his titles. When we describe titles, people, you do realize that you can be a gold medalist without money, right? What? You can be a gold medalist. Technically speaking, you could become a doctor. Technically speaking, you could gain all sorts of titles without having to purchase them, without the requirement of resources. You could be a great fighter. You could be a great track star. Hell, you could be a great researcher. There's all kinds of things you could do that, technically speaking, money doesn't buy it. It's not something you can go purchase like a can of beans. It's something that you have to develop. You have to overcome adversity. You have to overcome the odds. You have to prove something. So that is what that means. That's what that means when we discuss having titles. Technically speaking, Super Bowl champion is a title. And if you've been multiple times, people will start to assume there must be something special about your blood. There must be something special about your life force. There must be something special about your genes. You were able to do something that few people have done. Hopefully that doesn't go away. So you assume that the children will inherit that, or at least you hope they will. That's the value of your titles. Your father won all these battles. Your father conquered all these lands. Your father subdued all these enemies. Your father was able to build all these wonders. Those are his titles. And a man of any sort of value is fiercely defensive of his titles. You see, you can go get more money. You can always go and get more money. You can always go and get more land. You're only going to have one chance to become a Super Bowl champion. You're only going to have one chance to become boxing champion. You're only going to have one chance to conquer your enemies over here. You're only going to get to that once. If you succeed, you have increased the value of your name. Every child who has grown up in a family that they consider to be loving and beneficial to them looks up to their parents. It doesn't matter how much more money you've made than your parents. It doesn't matter how much more stuff you've bought than your parents. Notice that's what happens when the young man goes out into the world, whether it's the NFL or Microsoft or whatever. If he comes from a impoverished background, or even if he doesn't, if he looks up and respects his mother and his father, his grandmother, his grandfather, he looks up to them and he respects them. If he respects his father, then he has one goal: to travel out into this world to quote unquote make something of himself. Why? So he can bring back those titles to his father, because those titles are how he honors the person who made him who he is. What else are you going to give your father? What else are you going to lay at the feet of your mother? Except to show them I've come back to you to bring back honor and tribute to you. That I carry your name. I carry your name, I carry your blood, and now I've increased the value of it among men and women around the world. I have brought honor to our name. So that when people speak my name, they are speaking your name. And if you don't believe that is true, ask Beyonce Knowles. Damn. Ask Kanye West. What? Ask, we can keep going down the list. You get the point. Ask Tiger Woods.
And deal with it, nigga.
Each of them who traveled out into the world, Peyton Manning, each of them who traveled out into the world, people, maybe people believed in you, maybe they didn't, but they went out into the world, and when they came back to lay honors and tributes at the feet of the people who created them. That's the only thing that a man goes into the world to gain wealth and power and influence for, is to bring it back to increase the value of his family's name. That he's the one carrying that name for this generation, and he believes, he feels that his parents gave him more than they had. Therefore, now he has an obligation to go gain more than they had, not because he wants to floss in front of them, but that is the only way he can show gratitude to them, is look what I did with what you gave me. I've done 8, 5, 10, 20 times what you did. And I'm not doing that to be arrogant. I'm doing that because I'm grateful to you. And I'm showing you that I'm grateful for what you gave me by multiplying it. You planted the seeds, and now I'm going to show you everything it can be. It's going to be something bigger than you. How the hell is Cam Newton's 8 kids by 3 different women gonna do that?
Nigga, please.
How do you do that? Every time y'all turn around and see these dudes having a damn baker's dozen of kids by a whole bunch of Insta thoughts, and never once seen any of them amount to anything. As a matter of fact, they degrade the family. And any man stupid enough and irresponsible enough to sit up here and squander that. Cam Newton was given a once in a generation opportunity, not once in a lifetime, once in a generation. And look what he did. He squandered it. He wasted it. He turned it out and spilled it on the floor. And now it doesn't matter what he does, which is why he can talk as silly and stupid as he does here, because it doesn't matter anymore and he knows it. Matter of fact, I want more kids. Dude, you want more kids for what? Where's the value in your life being increased by that? You have 8 kids. Well, what has that done for you? And the truth of the matter is, what he's saying is, and the only thing I gotta value is my body, and it's not valuable in football anymore. Maybe I can go find some chicks who follow lagging indicators and they'll give it some value. In reality, he wants women to give him value and validation and acknowledgement. Yeah, because he's already done for. He's already through, and he's already done. That's the reason he's saying that. He doesn't have anything else to offer. He doesn't have anything else to offer. All right, let me go ahead and get over here on Zoom. See if I can get Onan up over here on Zoom. Onan, wake up.
Hey, what's going on?
Okay, let's go ahead and turn the light on for me, Onan. If you're going to rub yourself with oil or anything else like that, that's a different matter. So try not to do that if you can avoid it.
Okay.
Kind of important to us here. So Onan, need you to turn your camera on for me here, sir. I'll give you 5 seconds, and then after that, vacation. So let's not play around. Let's go ahead and get that done for me here. Unless I got another nigga sitting in the damn bubble bath doing what they do. I need you. No, sir, you have a whole black screen there, so I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to turn a light on or something. Folks are not that damn dense. No, they're not that dense, but then again, maybe some of them are. Okay, there he is. All right, of course, he's shirtless. All right, Onan, what's on your mind?
I'm sorry. Okay, so at what point does it become insignificant for a man and his money? Because with Stedman, I had Googled his net worth, and for whatever it's worth, it says that he's worth $10 million, right? And I know that Oprah is worth, hundreds of times more, right? She's like in a different stratosphere altogether, right? But he's still able to stand on his own, independent of Oprah.
Define stand on his own.
So he would be able to take care of his own responsibilities without assistance from other people. Like he's an autonomous individual who's not dependent on someone else's help to sustain the regular things in life. And I think he's able to do that.
Okay, what you're saying is that he's an adult, is what you're saying.
Right.
Okay, so, that's not special, but do you know what you didn't say? You didn't say where his status is.
Okay. But if he
no, we don't do that right there. No, sir. If you are going to be standing next to Oprah Winfrey, internationally known media icon, even if she is a crazed, psychopathic, lunatic, whacked out puppet, you're standing next to her as a man who is supposed to be protector and provider, and you are irrelevant? Now, think that over for a few moments. You can't just sit up and say, well, but that's not a but. Hold on a second. You're standing next to her and you are completely irrelevant.
But how would you define irrelevant? I think that's a subjective term.
No, it is not. No, it is not subjective. Tell me, what is Stedman Graham's value to other men?
Hey, listen, I'm not able to determine that because I don't run in the circles.
Okay, but you should be able to tell us what his value would. You can tell me what Jeff Bezos' value is to other men. You can tell me what Barack Obama's is, Peter Thiel's is. You can tell me what their value is to other men. You can't tell me what Stedman's is. What makes him different from them, sir?
Well, they've accomplished infinitely more.
What has Stedman accomplished? I'm so glad you said that.
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay, if he never started dating Oprah Winfrey, would you know he existed?
I would not. You're absolutely right. I would not. I don't know.
In other words, he is standing next to an eminently known woman, an eminently accomplished woman, and he is irrelevant. Which is why you can talk about Oprah with Stedman or Oprah with Gayle. If Stedman didn't show up, who would notice he was gone? Now that, sir, is the dictionary, Webster's dictionary definition of irrelevant. If Stedman Graham didn't show up at Oprah Winfrey's next birthday bash, would anyone even notice he wasn't there? Would there be a single article with a headline, "Where's Stedman"?
I'm not debating that point.
No. I want to establish that because that's what answers the question about his, quote, net worth, value, status, and everything else. When you said what makes him irrelevant, if he didn't show up at her next birthday party, there wouldn't even be a headline asking, "Where's Stedman?" That's because not because he became irrelevant in 2024. He's been irrelevant since 1987.
Okay, but just to counter that point, right? I get what you're saying in the grand scheme of things as far as relevance is concerned and how that's connected to a male's ability to establish himself amongst other men, right? What I'm saying is that so long as the parameters of the relationship are respected and that the woman is satisfied with the man and what he's doing, at the end of the day, the amount of money that he has, I don't believe dictates his leadership. Now, in the case of Stedman, you're right. He doesn't have any particular significance, relatively speaking, to, let's say, a Jeff Bezos or Mark Zuckerberg, somebody who produced something tangible to this society. I'm not arguing that point. I'm just saying, in the parameters of the relationship, at a certain point, is it relevant to even focus on?
Okay, let's go ahead and decipher that what you just said. Next question, sir. Where in 4 decades, where has Stedman Graham been leading Oprah Winfrey?
He hasn't been leading her anywhere. She's been avant-garde in the media.
Okay, but sir, okay, stop. He hasn't led her anywhere. Okay,
right.
But let's go ahead and dive into that a little bit deeper here. Where can he lead her?
I don't believe he'd be able to lead her anywhere that she's not able to go entirely on her own.
Then I think that we just also address that parameters of the relationship issue too. Those are the parameters of the relationship. He's irrelevant. He's not leading because he's not going anywhere. There isn't anything that she can do for herself, not just financially. You can't name anything intellectually, socially, academically, where Stedman excels at anything. She has never cited him as being an authority on anything. She has never talked about his profound insights, deep conversations and stuff. She hasn't even mentioned what she's learned from him. So other than being like her dogs, which is what I said from the beginning, other than being another one of her pets, you literally can't say what he has contributed to her. He has been her companion. He has accompanied her, but you can't name where the number one thing a woman needs, a man who's leading because he's going somewhere. Well, anywhere she's going, she can outstrip him, and there's nothing he can know where he's going if she hasn't already been or can't go better. Well, then what is his purpose? No wonder she's got Gail.
Right. I see what you mean. As far as the parameters of the relationship, and linking that to his ability to lead her to places that she hasn't been. Yeah, I did not look at it.
And that is, I said that at the beginning of the program, and that is a requirement for every woman. See, here's the issue right here. Men lie to women. Men do. Men lie to women. Women know it. Men lie to women about how deeply we feel about them. We either do it covertly or overtly. We either do it by commission or omission. But the most common way that men lie is about how deeply they feel about you. Unless they marry you. And if they don't marry you, anything short of that is like, if it's a sexual relationship, if y'all are having sex together, it's like, he's had to, that's you. I'm not saying that all men lie about it. Let me clean it up right quick. I'm not saying that all men lie. I'm saying the most common lie, the most common deception. The most common form of deception is men making females think that we're way more enamored and way more into them than we actually are, because we know how that affects women. We know that there is catnip for them. We know they love it. We know it turns their brains off because they want to believe that. So that's the most common way in which men deceive women. But the most common way in which women deceive men is by telling him that what he's giving her is satisfactory. What? Women know damn well that what you're giving them is not enough. They know full well that this is not what they've been dreaming of and not what they've been sitting around wondering. They know that. But they also know that if you want a man to sit still, then pretend that you respect him. Pretend that you admire him. And most men don't even know what admiration looks like, but do your best imitation of it, it'll work. That's the most common form of deception that females employ. The most common one. So then you'll have a guy who's actually dead in the water. Dude, you're just a pit stop. You're not even a placeholder. You're a pit stop. And they don't know it. And the reason that now the woman knows it, females always 100% of the time, 100% of the females know when you're a pit stop. Every single female, you have never had a female who got up one day and you used to be the man and now you're a pit stop. No, you're a pit stop from day one. Biggest lies if a female tells you things change. No, they didn't. She knew that from day one. She'd been waiting for a better opportunity. And if she's smart, if she's capitalizing and she's smart, and that doesn't mean honest, but if she's smart, she's going to let you believe that. And in the case of Stedman, if she wanted a companion, let him believe whatever he wants to believe. And for the rest of you, Oprah's not the only one. When a woman is with a low value man and she thinks she can do better, but she hasn't actually been able to get it, well, what do I got to do to keep this guy sitting still? Because there's some benefit, at least he can stand in front of bullets for me until I get what I really want.
But okay, let me ask you this: do you think that's myopic of females to do that, to look at a man as a pit stop rather than a long-term investment? Like, if you see the man as nothing more than just a resource rather than someone that you invest time and resource into in order to become a better person so that you're able to grow an empire, right? Do you think it's just looking out for their selfish needs in the immediate rather than looking at the longevity of it all?
No, because once again, you have a psychological fallacy that females today are a victim of. Remember, I've always taught you all about unspoken female assumptions. Number one spoken female assumption is that her life will get better simply because you are in it. Women take a look at men and they see a creature who can do a number of things that she physically cannot do. This leads to a fallacy, a falsehood, a misconception. She believes that because one man did it, that you are all capable of doing it. Well, Jason, why would they believe something so simple-minded and so obviously erroneous? Look it up. Why would they believe something so obviously flawed and false? Because a woman cannot tell a man how to be a man. When she takes a look at that dude who knows how to work on cars, knows how to chop down trees, is highly resourceful, set in his masculine ways, all she can do is sit back in awe of you, but she has no earthly clue how you got there. She is stunned that you are, but she can't tell you how you became what you are, which is why a mother can't build a man. The world can, but all she can do is give some helpful pointers here and there. But she's not going to be able to do his masculine framing. She has no clue what it is that makes a man, especially a man who's excellent, what he is. All she sees is you do these incredible things. That's why I said to women, men are to women what dragons are to men. A mystical creature who can do things she cannot do. Okay, even at the emotional level, I've taught you all this now for 2 decades. We can do things emotionally that women cannot do. We are capable of fighting somebody without hating them, and we're capable of having sex with someone without loving them. For a woman, in order for her to ball up her fist at somebody, she has to be emotionally invested. Because she's an empathic being, at least a properly calibrated woman is. The idea that she's going to ball up her fist and whack somebody, it's like, wait a minute, you can't just go do that. That's ridiculous. If I'm not defending my life, even if she has to engineer a situation that provokes somebody, at least, okay, well, now, even though I provoked it, now I can go through the motions. For a man, that's why we go in the military. It's like they say, okay, take out this target, take out that target. It's like, do you know them? No. What are you going to do to them? Take them out. Well, you're saying that like going to the store. That's the way men are. It's like, I don't have to hate him. I don't even have to know him. That's not a requirement. Women don't know how we do that. They have no clue how you can operate that way. And yet that's how we built, ironically enough, that's how we built civilization, is by being detached from it. Women can't do that. So when they see us doing those kind of things, she's like, wow, I can't even begin that because, for example, two men can get into a fight. If you put a bunch of men on a desert island, some of the men can fist fight, and when it's over, it's over. With the women, they get into a fist fight, you've made an enemy for life. Those two women will never get along again so long as they live.
Yeah.
They're going to make a point of it to stay at odds. So just that one thing alone, that one component alone is something that women are just like, wow, how does this creature called man do this? How does he operate that way? That's something she can look up to. She can't do that on her own, and she can't do that with other women. That makes us special. So she assumes that all men are equally capable. There's where the fallacy comes into it. So what you were saying there before about isn't it nearsighted or short-sighted? Well, from your perspective, it is, because you're eminently understanding that most of these guys are not similarly equipped, similarly resourceful, similarly capable. Women really do believe that if they get with a man, any man, as long as he's one who appeals to her for whatever reason, that if she, quote unquote, believes in him enough, why, he will just inherit masculinity and thus masculine excellence. That every man can be a multimillionaire and a winner if she believes in him or if she encourages him. Now, here's the problem. Why would she believe something so silly and so simplistic? Because the women are thinking the way they do about a child, not about a man. That particular pathology works with children, with a blank slate. It does not work with a grown man who's dealing with decades of programming. But she's employing the only rationale that she knows, not realizing that this does not work on grown men. That has some utility for children. This is not a child. This is a grown man who's set in his ways. You will not be able to re-raise him nor reprogram him. And your willingness to nurture him isn't going to make him bloom and blossom. That's the way females think. If you nurture something, it grows and blossoms. That's not how manhood works. Manhood is not seeds that are planted and cultivated. Manhood is steel that's put in the fire. And a woman cannot do that. A woman cannot put you in the fire. If she even tries it, she's betrayed you. Do you see the problem there? If she even tried it, the only way she could do it is by betraying you. So yes, she can become a new obstacle that you overcome, but in the process of overcoming her, you must also discard her. She cannot forge you. She can teach children. Men are forged, not taught. So that's why by your perspective, she's nearsighted. In reality, it would be a better word would be misguided. She can be into this dude over here, but the things that push your buttons, that might light your fire for you, but that's not what makes the kind of man you need. There's the kind you want, and there's the kind you need. And women go left to her primal urges. She goes after what arouses her and what she wants, and then she prays to God that he has what he needs later. And if he doesn't, well, let me blossom him. And when that finally doesn't work, now she's angry and upset and vindictive, and she leaves. And when she goes to the next man, now she's carrying a grudge. Hello, baggage. Now, does she blame herself for this misconception? Of course not. But now you started the cycle.
Yeah. There's one more question I wanted to ask. I'm not going to hold you up for too long. But as far as being a man is concerned, do you believe that it is ultimately detrimental for a man to stay in a relationship where he knows he's not being respected if it keeps up appearances and keeps his brand going. Like, let's say he's got a beautiful wife, but behind closed doors, she disrespects him. Do you think it makes more sense to hold on to her to keep on appearances, or should you just let her go?
Multifaceted question there, but a good one. First of all, most men are not aware of when they're being disrespected until they've been insulted.
Okay.
So, in other words, until it just becomes something that they just can't ignore, can't overlook. Most fellas today are so desperate for sexual access, they will literally dismiss anything until it's just so bad they can't ignore it anymore. So that's generally what happens is most men can't even identify disrespect until it has degenerated into insults. And the problem of it, of course, is that respect is essential for a man. Ideally, we would love to have a man thrives most when he has a woman who he A, needs, and B, desires. That's the ideal mix. She's the woman he needs and also the woman he desires. I'm talking about the one who at a biological level lights him up. That's where a man is at his highest level of productivity. He's going to give the most of everything. That's when he does that. And the problem is you have to deal with the real world, and that's not always an option. And that can create a problem. That can create a problem because now you're going to be penalized for what you haven't done. Now you're going to be penalized for that. Most men end up being with women who don't truly have passion for him. You cannot, a woman's deepest femininity is in her passion. This is why for the last 4 or 5 years of the pandemic, you've been ill-served by all the dating and relationship gurus that YouTube boosted because they tried to deceive everyone into thinking that passion is worthless or that that's something that we should ignore or that the women just need to get over it. And what I'm saying is you can't get a woman to, quote, get over passion any more than you can get a man to get over sexual contact. You're insane and silly. And yet that's what what people online keep saying. They keep telling females, you don't need passion. But there are levels of her feminine being that you can't unlock without it, which is the reason you have the red pill movement today. The red pill movement today is the result of a bunch of males who looked at females who were passionate about other males, whether it goes back to grade school or not. And he's like, wow, I never got that response. I never saw that light in her eyes like that. I never saw that jubilant look on her face. She looks giddy. She looks childlike. I've never seen her that way before. And she's only been that way with another dude. Mm-hmm. You never forget that because your survival as a man is dependent on your ability to identify facial features. And that's a facial feature that you recognize as being genuinely passionate. You can't ignore that. You can't pretend you didn't see that. You saw that and you know what it means, that he's ignited something in her on an emotional level. She would die for him. She would fight for him. She would die for him. She would kill for him. I don't care how much she smiles with you, it was never as good as it was with him. Okay, well, why is this a problem for you? Because you're being required to do much more than that man did. You're getting half the woman at 3 times the cost.
So it's just a bad investment.
It's a terrible investment, and what happens with most males who go into that Faustian bargain is they tell themselves, well, as long as I'm getting sexual access, I'm good, I'm okay with it, and it all goes good until eventually, ultimately, at some point, and it always, always, always happens, she is eventually going to go through that Rolodex and reference the man who really made her passionate. And at some point, she will have to, because she's not getting it from you, and she wants it. And when that day comes, you've been disrespected. The real question is whether or not you will simply try to ignore it or not. most men will try to ignore it. And the problem with ignoring it is it gives her more free space to explore it further. Eventually, she will do something you can't ignore. Now it's going to get to that ugly, sour, rancid, distasteful level that now you have to admit to yourself, yeah, she digs that other guy more than she ever did me. But we gon' just stick it out, man. You know, she here and I don't think she's sleeping with him, so we just gonna make it work. And you have to get up every day, no longer wondering, now you know, I was not her first choice. And if she actually could have it, she'd be there. She's never going to give me what she's gave him. And I'm doing so much more. Now it sets off an even worse cycle. Some guys start to try to accelerate what they do. They try to give her even more without realizing that doesn't work. It can't. I mean, I guess it can, but not the way they're trying it. So all that really does is ball a man's soul up and crushes it. But then again, I'm just going to be honest with you. The majority of males around here are walking around with crushed souls to begin with. Their mamas crushed it. Society crushed it. Now this chick is there and it's just like, this is just the next person crushing him. So he'll just sit there and, oh, well, what's the alternative? I don't want to be back on these streets. I don't want to get back in these streets. So he sits there with her, knowing what's going on behind her eyes.
Yeah. Hey, Jason, God bless you. I'm going to leave it there, man. God bless you. B1$.
This is The Biz. Thank you very much for giving us a call. See, women can accept that. You know why? Because a woman knows that ultimately if she is with a man who has quote unquote committed to her is, even if he's not as quote enthusiastic for you as he is for another female, he's going to be required to give the same thing. He's not going to be able to stand in front of bullets for another female and then not do it for you. So he's going to be required to give everything. There's the difference. Every woman knows, well, no matter how he is passionate about another female, the cost for me and her going to be the same. Somebody starts shooting, he's going to have to stand between me and them. So I'm going to get the same benefits she got, even if he's not as enthusiastic about me. For men, it doesn't work that way. You can sit up here and get half or a third of the benefits that another man got, and it'll cost you 3 times as much, and you'll never get as much as he got. Ever. Which is all fine as long as you're willfully blind and willfully ignorant. But when the day comes that she shows you undeniable proof that, yeah, I gave more to somebody else and I'll never do that for you. That's what breaks men. That's what crushes them. When he's been required to go all in, and then the day comes where she's disrespectful and shows you that I'm not going all in for you. I'm so glad you went all in for me. I'd never do it for you. I'll never give you what I gave that man. Folks don't like this one right here. I've had some folks email me about that. I got to remind y'all here again. Fellas, don't you know damn well you've been disrespected? Females will sit up here and say sentences to you that you don't even realize is disrespect. I just said that to Onan. Men get disrespected all the time and usually can't identify it. If a woman tells you, man, the last man I was with, ooh, I had to drag hoes. I beat this one hoe down in the middle of the front damn yard, messing with my man, and I ain't never gonna do that again. What? Don't you know she just disrespected you? That's toxic. No, you ain't gonna camouflage that. You just told me that you was willing to get down with another broad and throw hands. That you beyond words. You like, hey, heifer, we ain't got no words to speak. Let me get these earrings out and we gonna get to it. I'm going to get these earrings off and we going to get them up right here, right now. I'm going to risk life and limb. And then she comes to you and tells you, I ain't never going to do that for another man. Hold on a second. That nigga left your ass in the middle of the damn front yard on Christmas Eve. What? You with me. I got fellas in here right now. You ain't got to raise your hands, but you know who you are. You know who you are. I got fellas in here right now. You paying for purses, shoes, car notes, mortgages, private school. Damn! For a female who used to be out there throwing blows with broads over another dude and telling you what she's not ever gonna do for you. And then telling you, and you need to be proud, I ain't gonna do it. Wait, hold on a second. You were so passionate about that guy that you went Jerry Springer on another chick. And you telling me that if you were in that situation again, you would not do that for me. So you don't feel that way about me. For him, you had something that was uncontrollable. He had such a hold on you. It ignited you so much you could not control it. And you telling me I have no problem controlling it around you. Fellas, catch a clue. Catch a clue. Stop letting folks use reverse psychology and make an ass of you. Catch a clue. She's trying to make that sound like she's doing you a compliment. No, she's not. She's setting expectations and then trying to fool you into thinking that that's the great thing to do. Dude, she just told you I'm not going to do that for you. That's how I felt about him. But before you even think I would do that, I'm just letting you know right now, that ain't happening. And for every male who hears those words, I can practically guarantee it. For every male who hears those words, the females who say that to you, you're doing more for her than that guy ever did. You're more on the hook than that guy ever was. More is being required of you than was ever required of him. The most common form of deception from females. Not the only one. I didn't say most, although most of them do operate in that way, by the way. But by the way, that's the one that's used the most. That's the one that's used the most. Making you think you're being respected. And what she just said, that was utter contempt. What the hell? She's supposed to be sitting up here like, I'm breaking down with 5 hoes over you. You're paying the mortgage? You're paying the car note. You're paying for the BMW I'm driving. You're paying for the BMW that I'm driving. And she's telling you what she did for another man that she's not going to do for you. Jason, that's silly. That's stupid. Okay, these are the same jackasses who will sit up here. And by the way, if I tell you, by the way, let a man tell a woman the same thing. Baby, one time this fella disrespected my girlfriend. I beat that nigga down like he stole something.
And deal with it, nigga.
I beat his ass down like I was working at the bakery at Applebee's. But I ain't never gonna do that for another female again. Oh, we got the shoe on the other foot now, don't we? When I say it like that. By the way, fellas, try that one and see if the females applaud you. Tell her that you will never fight another man over another female again so long as you live. See how well that one goes over. See how much she tells you, that's good for you. That would be toxic. You don't need no toxic female like that. See how many of the females sit up here and start congratulating you and patting you on the back and telling you about what a square dude you are and how great that is and how that would be silly and that would be toxic and shouldn't nobody want nobody. See how many gonna back that one. You don't see a single female saying nothing right now. Y'all don't see a single female saying nothing right now in my chat room. Catch a clue, fellas. Catch a clue. You tell her what you're not gonna do for her, especially in the moment of passion. She's like, when she sees you ain't passionate enough, you ain't as passionate as you were for another chick, women gonna stop that quick. Fellas hang up in there. Well, as long as I get some sex, I guess I can go for it. The women ain't gonna stick around for no amount of time. As soon as you said that, she's like, oh, okay, let me see what your friend doing. The fellas will sit around to the next damn me harvest moon, waiting to see if he can get some sex from her. The woman had already moved on. As soon as you say that right there, she's like, oh, no. Can't be. Can't be. And we got fellas in here taking on, I'm talking about decades-long obligations. Decades-long obligations. You have obligations that in some of your cases you will never be able to get away from. You'll be permanently tied to them. And yet here you are, hearing these women say that to you. And you running interference and making excuses for it. I want to say one more thing here before I get too far along, because I do feel it is incumbent on me to go ahead and point this out. I couldn't help but notice the NFL season, preseason, all that started and stuff like that is underway. So they're getting ready to start the new NFL season here. And oh, yes, many of you are watching many cities out there right now. Some of you are watching Dallas. Some of you are watching Atlanta. Some of you are watching New England. Jason Black is watching New Orleans. No, Pittsburgh. What? Keep your eye on Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Keep your eyes on one Russell Wilson. I say Owen Wilson. Keep your eyes on one Russell Wilson. Keep your eyes on him there, because there's going to be some things for you to learn in that regard. There are going to be some things for you to learn, because old Russell, I have a feeling here, is going to be able to show some folks a lot of things here soon. He's going to be able to show folks a whole lot of things soon. Now, just here last week, had the newspapers out there. Y'all got to understand how committed they are. How committed they are to trying to boost this thing, because they know better. They know better. But they're going to try to boost it as much as they can anyway. They're going to try it. They're going to try it. Not because they're honest, but because they've been backing this thing for so long. And so now they're kind of just married to it. They're kind of just married to it. Well, let me go ahead and show you the headlines here on your screen. This is the headlines. AP, well, ain't this great? Because there were some folks, I know what you were thinking. I know what you were saying. Well, Jason, see, that's what it is. Shut up now, Jason. Let me talk. I'm gonna fry Jason. He think he's so damn smart. I hate that nigga. He think he's so smart. I got him this time, though. Jason, you said that Russell Wilson wasn't no good no more. He's in Pittsburgh, and he beat the other boy out for the starting quarterback job. You was wrong, Jason. You was wrong. You was stupid. You was wrong. Let me host this damn program. Handle your business, because I'm handling Jason right now. Now, this is what the newspapers, the New York Times, and a bunch of other folk were putting up just here a little over a week ago. Yeah, just last week. This is what they were saying. Russell Wilson beat Justin, what's his name? Oh, Mike Tomlin. Russell gonna be starting for the team. Jason, you wrong, brother, you wrong. Just hold this L, nigga, you wrong. Oh, what the hell? What happened here? I'll be damned. What happened this afternoon? What?
Nigga, please.
Well, I'll be damned. What happened this afternoon? Well, during practice, Russell Wilson, you know, injury-prone Russell Wilson. Well, during practice, that calf that's been bothering him, he's injured it again. And now the Steelers are saying just that quickly, right after they just said he'll be starting for us, he may be showing up this Sunday, we ain't so sure. We're not so sure. Yeah. Uh-huh. Go ahead and tell me one more time about how it ain't all over. Tell me one more time about how Denver wasn't his fault. That was Sean Payton. Seattle wasn't his fault. That was Marshawn Lynch. Denver wasn't his fault. The last decade has been a fluke. Season ain't even got started yet. I just wanted you all to keep track of this because, I'm gonna say it. Tom Brady. Damn! By the way, yeah, all right, Russell, right now, this is gonna be your last stop, my dude. If you don't make a career resurgence in Pittsburgh, if you don't pull a Tiger Woods, it's over for you. Nobody's looking to give you another $80 million, $100 million, $200 million contract. Nobody's looking to do that. And if it becomes obvious in Pittsburgh that you can no longer perform, I'm telling y'all right now, if Russell Wilson has a losing season in Pittsburgh, the countdown has officially begun to Ciara leaving. Ciara will sit there and fight with you. Ciara will take some moderate suffering with you. Ciara will not sit there and be a loser with you. She will not sit there and be mocked with you. She will not sit there and be laughed at with you. You have to at least be able to argue that you win in something. You have to at least be able to argue that. In the chat room, Rock Fresh, I'm so glad you said that right there. We need for you to go ahead and give us a call up on Zoom. So glad that Rock Fresh did that. Rock Fresh is a true fan. And of course, we certainly want true believers in Russell and Ciara. We certainly want them to go ahead and weigh in on things. So Rock Fresh, you have 2 minutes to go ahead and give us a call up here on Zoom. No more commenting in the chat room for you, by the way. Let's just make sure you can't do that anymore. So you're done commenting in the chat room. We're going to give you a few minutes here to go ahead and give us a call on Zoom so you can go ahead and weigh in. You can go ahead and you got a few minutes to go ahead and give us a call in. Otherwise, we're going to say you're trolling and ban you, which you don't want that happening because, of course, you're not trolling and just being silly and immature. So we'll give you a couple of minutes here to go ahead and give us a call, and you can go ahead and articulate that since he is Team Russell and Ciara. We definitely want to make sure that he can weigh in on that. Y'all got to understand, there's a whole bunch of body boys out there. They need the single mamas to win something because he's looking around at his options like, damn. So he needs something he can look up to. He needs somebody he can live vicariously through. If Russell can make it, Russell can make it. Maybe me. Maybe I can do it. If Russell can make it. This boy sitting up here. I warned you all about this, and I told you about this. And by the way, one more thing. All my football heads, this isn't news to my football heads. To the sucker-ass simps out there, this is shocking to them. My football people, you knew this was coming. You knew that contract in Denver was a sucker bet. The football heads knew this back in Seattle. Y'all knew that what happened on his way out of Seattle wasn't no fluke. Football, people who know football, it's the casual viewer who doesn't know this. True football fans who know the teams and know players, they know a season, they know injuries, they know how defense and offense goes, they know how performance goes. My football fans, this isn't a surprise to them. My football fans are not shocked. It's all the Instagram niggas. They're shocked. They're shocked about what happened in Denver. It's Sean Payton's fault. My damn football people, niggas who go back to the Cowboys days, you knew damn well this wasn't no fluke. When you saw Russell and Richard Sherman in the Super Bowl and then didn't see that, when you saw that particular squad dissolve, you knew it was over then. Those of you who go back to that Super Bowl win, when you saw Richard Sherman and them, you knew that squad that won that Super Bowl. When you saw that gone, because you've seen it before, you saw it with the Cowboys, you saw it with the 49ers, you've seen it before with other in Green Bay. When you saw that squad was gone, you knew it was over. You knew that dynasty was over. You didn't have to follow him to Denver. You knew it was a wrap right then. Niggas still sitting around. I need Jason to be wrong. They followed him to Denver. It blew up in their damn faces. I need Jason to be wrong. They gonna just hang on to Pittsburgh. Okay. But by the way, the real football fans, they've known this since the beginning. Yeah, the Legion of Boom, he blew that up for you. Everybody know it. Everybody know Richard Sherman face. I mean, hey, everybody, the football people know it. It's the damn casual new booties who don't know anything. They get all their information from Ciara's Instagram feed. That's what they know about football. Is Ciara's Instagram feed. They don't know a damn thing about performance. They don't know a damn thing about track records. You could take a look at Russell Wilson on paper and you can see where his career is going. You could take like I say, those of you who are real football fans, you all essentially get to learn about this stuff to the point that you become like sports scouts. You become like talent scouts. Y'all can sit up here and tell who got the goods and who doesn't, who's got the skill set and who doesn't, who's got a track record of, okay, that's an injury that once he gets over that, he'll be okay, versus a quarterback or a player who is at the end of his career, he's having chronic injuries, which is not something that happens at the beginning of your career. Chronic injuries happen at the end of it. The other thing you look for is nagging injuries. An injury that just keeps coming back. It never really heals. He never gets to get over it. Naive people who don't know anything dismiss that. Those of you who've been through wars and been through battles and been through the trenches and been through losing seasons, you know when you get over that naivete and you get over that wishful thinking and you're like, yeah, that's not a fluke. That's not a fluke. I've seen it before. That's not a fluke. Don't wish no ill on him. I'm not wishing bad, but I know what the numbers mean. I know what an injury like that means. That's not a fluke. Okay. Yeah, bad team in Denver, so every damn team Russell goes to is bad. It's not him, it's every team he goes to is bad. Because he was Ciara. So all the teams are bad. He's okay, he's greatest quarterback ever. It's the teams that are bad. All right, now he's in Pittsburgh. Okay, we're going to give him the ball. All right, he ain't even made it out there. By the way, he ain't played another team here. I'm injured my calf again. Okay. Go ahead and be like Journey. Don't stop believing. Just letting you all know right now. Somebody said he had no line protection in Seattle. All right. All right. Okay. Okay. Just whatever. In any case, they trust me, some folk gonna argue it till the man leaves the league. They're gonna claim it's the team's fault till the man leaves the league. It's their fault. You never heard anybody talk about Tom Brady's line, Troy Aikman's line, Brett Favre's line. You never heard anybody talk about theirs. Here comes Russell. If that line we get together. Okay. Peyton Manning's line. Ben Roethlisberger's line. I can name all the other quarterbacks here. Their line wasn't the issue. Russell Wilson, if that line would get together, if them niggas would just work. They paying them niggas for nothing. What they paying Russell for? A messed up calf? Because he gonna get paid this season. He's getting paid this season out of Denver. All right. Bottom line here, folks, my official projection. Unless Russell Wilson pulls out a sports miracle and has a career turnaround, he has a losing season in Pittsburgh because them starting him is the worst thing they could have done. He would have been a whole lot better off letting them have Justin Fields start and see if he can come back next year. By them starting him fresh out the gate, because the real thing is they were going to do that deliberately because they want to find out if they want to keep him or not. You do realize if he has a losing season, Tomlin's not going to blame himself. He's going to blame Russell. He's going to blame him. He's going to blame him. And when that happens, the fans will turn against him. When the team starts putting the blame on Russell, the city is going to turn against him. If you go take a look at the comment sections on Twitter and whatnot, they've already started. By the way, one more thing. If you go take a look at the comment sections, they've actually already started. Whole bunch of people saying, not again. This again. Here we go again. So he has a bad season in Pittsburgh. The team is going to blame him. They're going to dump the blame on him. The fans are going to blame him. And Ciara is going to start looking for the exits because she can't floss with him no more. And he's too young. He's too young. She was looking to get another 4 or 5 years of mileage out of him. If he's already washed this young, she's like, there's nothing more to look forward to. The side business ventures ain't working, and he's too damn corny. There's not enough benefit to being with him. Plus, he'll be around the damn house all the damn time. What? I don't know. She's going to be looking for the exits or to go see where she left Future's phone number. Which one of your pockets did you leave it in, Ciara? Mark my words. Let's go ahead and get back over here on Zoom. All right, I got my man Prince out of Richmond over here on Zoom. And what is on your mind, Prince?
My brother Jason. Yeah, I kind of came in a little bit after the broadcast started, but I think I pretty much get the gist. I've been here for an hour and a half, so I want to ask you a question, Jason. Are you adverse to being in a relationship with a woman that has a celebrity status?
That's a tough question to answer because here's the issue. A person, but in this case, you're asking about a woman who has outside adoration. She's gotten accustomed to that. She's gotten used to that. Therefore, her determination of her value doesn't originate with you. It originates outside of you. How do you ever correct her? How do you ever lead her? When she's always got this bottomless well of affirmation she can go to drown you out. So it would be very difficult to do that. It's not something that I would want to go into. She's already got her own ideas about herself, and she's getting reinforcement, even if it's superficial, from so many other people. This is what happens to chicks on social media. How can you tell her that she's messed up with her 5 kids and she can get 50 likes on a strong faux picture of herself?
Right. But Jason, you're able to tell if a woman is grounded because you move in certain circles. You've been around celebrities, and I'm sure you've been around celebrity women.
Most celebrity women are not grounded, though.
True, not true. Now, what do you say about Beyonce?
The definition of not grounded has nothing to do with being a law-abiding citizen, has nothing to do with whether or not you got a crazy body count, has nothing to do with whether or not you got some bastard kids. I mean, she's not grounded. Take a look at how she operates in that marriage. Take a look at how she's moving. She's called herself a feminist. She said some crazy things out there. So, no, she's not grounded. Brother, you can't be a chick who folks are paying thousands of dollars for tickets and making their boyfriends look stupid and you grounded. It doesn't work that way.
Oh, that's real talk.
Chris Brown's not grounded. How can you? This nigga breaking up marriages. There's no way you can be grounded in those circumstances. You're not. You're living in some weird parallel world out there. And it'd be different if you were there by yourself. The problem is you can get other people to validate that it exists. So therefore, there isn't really a lot of incentive to listen to one person, no matter how quote unquote valuable they are. Anytime you want to veto his opinion, you can just put a post up online and get 30, 40, 50,000 likes. And now his opinion doesn't matter because, well, these other folks are saying it can't be true. I got 50,000 people who like me.
Yeah, that's wow. That's kind of similar to what forget the young lady, she was on that movie about the spelling bee, but she was tripping out on her dude. Can't think of her name right now. She's from Chicago, actress. But Jason, you're right. But let me ask you, are you saying that the attention that they get, does that incite passion in women, or it's a man that's the only thing that can incite passion in a woman?
No, I mean, attention is currency for females. Attention is currency. Attention is currency. Attention is status, because females are taught from a very early age biologically, the more attractive you are, the more protected you are. The less attractive you are, the less protected you are. So biologically, intrinsically, they attach a high premium to being attractive. More attractive things are more protected.
Yes. Now, more attractive things are more protected. But you're saying here, if a woman has passion for a man, no matter how she looks, she willing to get out there getting down and dirty with it. You understand what I'm saying? If a woman's out of line, about to mess with her immediate situation. So, Jason, what do you say to women that bring it like this? Well, I've grown. I'm more refined as a woman now, and that's ratchet behavior to be fighting over a man. What do you say to them about that?
When you was fighting them hoes in the front yard, that was the result of 25 years of your personal development. Now you're going to tell me that 25 years has been X'd out in one day or whatever. Well, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It's just you've moved to another relationship and whatnot. Now what you're making is a political statement.
Yes.
Not an actual value judgment. You're saying this for political reasons. You want this man to believe this because now you're with a different dude. Now, the other fella that you were fully invested in, you was throwing hands over. All you're really doing now is exposing that you are not similarly invested in this man.
Right.
That's all you're trying to tell me. Before now, you were trying to protect the other man. Today, you're trying to protect yourself. And what I'm saying is, okay, that's how I know you're not as invested in him as in this fella you with as the one you were with. So that's how I know right there. You're trying to protect you. Before now, you were trying to protect him. You were reckless. You were ruthless about protecting him. The man you're with now will never get that from you. No. And I wonder how he feels knowing that, by the way, she telling you to stand in front of bullets. With that last man, she jumped in front of him for him.
Yes. And if she gets around him and she with you, she going to show that passion again if he don't show her no attention. There are women that'll lose their mind by the man that they're passionate about not showing them attention. You know this to be the case. You know how it is, but they'll tell you what, if a woman doing a whole bunch of talking about what she's not going to do, that just gonna leave her where she at, or demote her or whatever. That's not even a conversation. If she's doing more talking than acting, that's faith without works. That's dead. And she has to show commitment. Now, Jason, I want to ask you this here. I'm like you. We talked about, I think this was during the when we was doing the on Saturdays, the Patreon, that I never said a woman made me who I am. And my niece asked me a question. She said, well, what about, you always talk about your grandmother, your great grandmother, your aunts, my great aunts, all the women in my family. But I said, they're not the ones that made me a man. How can you articulate? Help me out there, Jason, because I'm gonna tell you this here, man. When you said what you said about your mom and you was going down there to Georgia, I think Noonan, Georgia, and you said, but this is the man that you raised. You were right, man. But your mama should have took a switch to you, man. You can't break your mama heart like that, man. When I was in combat, I lied to my grandmother and told her I wasn't in combat. I told her I was.
Yeah.
How do you, I know what it means to you, but how do you pose yourself like you did the right thing, but that's a hard thing for somebody, how your mother feels about you.
Yeah, I mean, look, and I got folk in my family and friends and whatnot who are in the military, and they never talked about when they were in war zones. They certainly wouldn't give you, the heads up on that, because all your mama and your aunties and your grandmama's going to do is worry about you. And that once again, they were protecting them. It's just okay. Just don't tell them anything, because all they're going to do is worry. They'll be looking on the news. They'll hear something got blown up, and the first thing they're going to be doing is worrying about you. So as men, naturally, that's what we're going to do in that regard. Let me give a brief aside here. About Russell Wilson and Ciara, I did want to touch on that again here real quick because I saw something in that regard. What she's going to do, Russell, when he gets drummed out of the league, Ciara's going to say that Russell changed. And then she's going to leave him. So if you all want to know what she's going to do, mark this broadcast. What she'll do is she'll say Russell changed. She'll say that after his career went south, he wasn't the same anymore. So it'll be kind of like an inversion of Gisele Bündchen. Tom wanted to stay in even though he could perform. She's going to be like, Russell changed when he couldn't perform.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So mark my words, that's most likely the rationale she'll give. Is he changed. When he couldn't perform anymore, he changed. I'm about to say that's going to scare a lot of fellas in here because there is no defense against that. There's no defense against that excuse.
That's subjective. That's her mindset.
You can't prove it. You can't disprove it. If she says you changed, I'm just telling you, it'll be, if he starts hanging around that house all the time, the season starts and he has no team to go to, that's it. She met you winning. She met you performing. She met you competing. How long is she going to be with you now you're around the house all the time and you're still in your 30s? What?
That's why he's still a younger man.
Yeah, Prince, I'm about to say, that's what I was saying here before. He's still too young. He's younger than she is, I believe. And what's he going to do? He's not going to be 40 years old sitting around the house. He'll be in his mid-30s sitting around the house.
But Jason, that's because he don't have any other things that he do. He don't interact with men, so he going to be sitting up under her all day.
And expecting her to respond positively to it because he spent all this time drinking the Kool-Aid that he's an alpha male, when in reality you're a workhorse. Well, yeah, but that's what the league gave you. If you don't have it, then what?
Oh, that's real tough.
So I just wanted to go ahead and address that before I went any further. That, by the way, if you all want my prognostication, look it up, of where how that's gonna go down. This isn't a woman who's going to take responsibility. She's not going to be able to do the future thing and blame him for cheating. That's not what she won't be able to do that one. And she won't want to make it obvious that the issue was right after he can no longer play. Now she's heading for the exits because his ability to be the status symbol that he was for the children now is gone, and Future over there laughing. Future's career is still bubbling, and Russell's already fizzled out. So if she's there for clout, well, there goes that. So how do you duck out on Russell without making it look like the shameless, bailout and abandonment that it is? And what you'll say is he changed.
You don't think it'll get ugly? You don't think on his end he might snap or, go off and start, or with her, I know she's trying to ease out of the situation.
No, if Russell divorces Ciara, he's going to go look for another chick.
Okay.
He's just going to go look for another one. Any female who pretends to be Susie Homemaker, he's going to follow their damn feet. Because that's the kind of weak individual he is. So he'll do that. Although by then she done grabbed half of everything. All these dumbasses out there talking about how much she got and whatnot. When she go to court with him, it's gonna be, I'm broke. I ain't got nothing, y'all. He been making all the money right here. It was all his. So yeah, that's what'll happen there. He'll go marry a cheerleader or something, and just on the way down. He'll just go marry a cheerleader on the way down. She's gonna go back to the marketplace and see if she can go get a 21 Savage or go see if there's one more rapper out there that she can throw them legs around, and maybe he'll go ahead and make something pop off. So that's where they'll go. But I just wanted to go ahead and document that before I lost track of it or anything like that. But you were asking about how I'm worrying the women.
You was not, tell me when you say worry. I'm trying to see what you're talking about in particular. What I was saying.
Oh, you were saying that before about how I do things and how
you move. Yes, sir. So how you move because of the fact that your mom, just like women in that care about you, period, a woman that's with you, they if you're somebody that's important to them, they're going to be concerned about you going. And I'm sure you've had girlfriends you've had this issue with, that they don't want you to be harmed. You know what I'm saying? And you saying this is the man that you chose to deal with, or this is the man, as you said with your mom, that you raised. Now, like I say, man, she should have took a switch to you, man. But how do you reconcile it within you? Because I've had to do that, but it's kind of it wasn't. I didn't like being. I ended up just lying to my grandmother because I wasn't gonna tell her nothing that I think that I had to be worried where I'm at in that situation in Iraq and worrying about her back home.
Well, I mean, when you refer to that event in particular there, it wasn't like I was giving them the blow by blow. I told them when I got there and I told them when I left. I wasn't sending pictures and this, that. Folks on the internet knew much more about what was happening than they found out from me personally. So in reality, when you all saw me posting up videos and pictures and whether y'all saw much more and were much more aware and up to date on my whereabouts and what I was doing than my biological family was. But that's okay too, because number one, I had every intention of returning. But that's the first thing. I had no intention of not returning. But the other thing is, look, I mean, at the end of the day, you're gonna have to be your own man, and you have to be your own person. And the problem, women, I was never raised or taught to be liked. I was raised and taught to be respected. And women say things, but the problem is even women will tell you, don't listen to what women say. Women will tell you that, but fellas sit up here because they get real simple-minded because they think everything's like going to McDonald's. You make an order and have to request something. And the bottom line is, if you have a mission in your life and a purpose in your life, the woman is attracted to you because you have that.
Yes.
Ciara came to Future because he had a mission and a purpose. She leapfrogged over to Russell because he does too.
Right.
That's what a woman comes to you for. She wants a work already in progress. She doesn't want to have to build a nigga.
Build a boot.
So she trusts your competence of seeing what you're already doing. You need to have a program that is already in session that she joins in. Because now she can evaluate you, and that's what she has confidence in. She has confidence in what you've done, not what you talk about or aspire to do. That's right. The issue. So for me, I've always got a program. I always got 3 or 4 of them going. So just automatically, I'm going to be in a situation where that's what I'm doing. And I come into that from day one. The only thing I do with anybody, male, female, or otherwise, when you're talking about females in particular, or even family for that matter, this is the program that's not going to change for you. If this is not what you're interested in, you can't, I don't know how the hell you came knocking on this door. This is not where you need to be. I'm not here to fit you. You're here to see if you can get in where you fit in. But I'm not here to fit you. I got a program. It runs very well. It will continue to do so. Now, the reason why most men fail at that is because they're like, I'll be damned, sex going out the door. They're afraid that they'll be told no and that their sexual opportunity is going to vanish. That's the problem for 80% of the males out here today. Their concern is that.
So are you saying, are you looking for like a Winnie Mandela? Are you looking for somebody, you say, hey, we're going to Charlottesville, and if is that understood that if she's your girlfriend, that's part of the territory?
I've never really had a problem with that, quite frankly. I've never had a problem with that because, number one, this is something that a lot of fellas miss out on.
Talk about it.
And I can understand it to a certain degree, but they need to get over it. You know, if you're a man who has a mission, you're supposed to be doing things. And it's supposed to be self-evident. It's not really something she got to investigate or ask a friend about. It's something she's supposed to be able to see. You know, I'm a true believer. If you're a man with a full-size SUV, you're supposed to be getting things done. Go get you an economy car if you're going to be a homebody. But don't go off and go buy a Navigator or an Escalator or something like that, and you ain't doing things. That doesn't make any sense. So it should be self-evident. That's what a woman admires. You're doing things that she can't do or she wouldn't readily do. Now, for me, you can't really be of any real help if your value to me is always going to be questionable if you're deficient in that way, because how invested are you in what I'm doing? If you got a female who is not interested in being invested, keep going. Or at least put this one in her pocket where she belongs. I've never had a problem with females who are interested in what I did. I've never had a problem with them being interested in it. They're fascinated by it, usually. I've usually had a pretty good amount of enthusiasm for it and stuff. And not just because it's celebrities. I mean, okay, anybody and their mama wants to go meet Jadakiss. I get it. But I'm not going up there, you know, to go bull jive around. I'm actually doing something that contributes to the world. So it's nice locales, nice places, even though you're stuck down there in Columbus Square. I'm in Columbus Circle. Got it. But what I'm saying is, you know, how many people are doing that? How many men are doing that? How many people are spending their life in that way and doing those kind of things? So it doesn't take a whole, in my opinion, it doesn't take a whole lot when they see what you're doing. I think where fellas have the most trouble, where men have the most trouble is you're doing the same thing every day and it's not remarkable. Women have no problem. Women are emotional thrill seekers by nature.
Okay.
The real issue is, are you worth the thrill? That's the real issue. And don't get me wrong, you know, in my life, even myself, I've had, you know, times where that wasn't really a thing. But men don't do themselves favors at that. It is, once again, this internet is a son of a gun in that regard. Men don't do them. The internet has got a lot of fellas out here thinking very simplistically because they wish to think simplistically because it's easy. They want somebody to tell them that the only thing a woman should expect from you is to pay the bills, and then she needs to go sit her ass down somewhere. What do they say? Sex and sandwiches. You're not a man. You're a cafeteria.
That's it. Oh, Lord. That's horrible.
And what I'm saying is that there are whole parts of her psyche and her being that are not being accessed. By definition, they will start to stagnate and calcify. They're going to start to atrophy. Your job as a man should be to make sure that kind of thing doesn't happen. I'm not saying that every day needs to be an amusement park. I'm not saying that. Right. What I am saying, though, is that as a man, there needs to be some adventure in your life.
Yes.
Men becoming homebodies, you're useless to a woman. Because what that tells her is there will be no more growth. No more growth, no more development. You'll blame the, quote, bad boys without looking at the very plain facts. He goes places, he does things, he goes on adventures, and you're steadily trying to convince her that that's not what she should want. Why? Because it makes your life easier.
Right.
As opposed to saying, okay, we're going to make a point of this. Once a year, like for example, I've discussed this before on the dark arts. As men, we don't like no damn flowers. We don't like no damn flowers. We don't like candles. Women adore those. And what I'm saying is, okay, keep that up. Keep being a specialist in all the things that, don't matter. Keep doing that. Show that you don't have any capacity for that. You're leaving a vulnerability open for something that's minor to do. As a man, you're supposed to make sure you got all the exits blocked. You're supposed to be her best option. And if you know these things and you can't be bothered to do it because, just understand you're getting lax in that regard. That's why I say for fellas, you need to take your woman on an adventure once a year. Now, notice I didn't say a vacation. I said an adventure once a year. This is why I told the fellas here, by the way, while y'all are going on Airbnb, most of them had never heard the term glamping before they heard it from me. Well, when they think about a quote vacation, the only thing they really think about is going to the beach. And what I'm saying is, okay, that's cool and everything. When you're thinking about Florida and California, there's more than a beach. Now, you and I have the benefit of that coming from the deep South, being born and raised in the deep South. I'm from Louisiana. They call it the sportsman's paradise. Sometimes them mosquitoes ain't nothing to fool with. But what I am saying is, I guarantee you, for most of the fellas in here, your woman has never gotten up at 4 a.m. with a shotgun.
No.
Now, I can give you all kinds of cheat codes. For the fellas in here, one thing, Cam Newton, pay attention, nigga. Fellas, do you know how much a modern crossbow costs you?
What? I want to give me one, but I don't know.
Let me tell you, if you get a female, hopefully she ain't gonna kill nobody. But you get a female with some proper titanium tipped arrows and whatnot. Somebody said a few hundred. I can show you crossbows that cost $10,000.
Yeah, I don't know about the 200.
I can show you about a couple $100. You can probably get that at Walmart. I'm talking about a good one with good spindles on it and good gears. They cost thousands of dollars, not hundreds, thousands. Hell, the arrows are expensive. You got to go back and retrieve them. It's like, oh, hell, even if you miss, I got to give them an arrow. Do you know how much I spent for that? Really? And what I'm saying, somebody said, goodness gracious. Yeah, I mean, I can show you crossbows. I can show you crossbows that cost $10,000 easy. Easy. They'll last you forever, but I can show you ones that cost $10,000 easy. And what I'm saying is the first time a female picks one up, first time she does that and you take her in the backyard and you set up the bow and the target and the bullseye and you tell her she hasn't done this since high school. If they did in high school, you won't be able to get her away from it.
No.
And then you tell her, okay, once she gets a little proficiency at it, you have to teach them how to do it for long range. That's how, if you're going to start crossbows and whatnot, you got to do long range. Bows, crossbows, you got to do it for long range. Once she gets the hang of that, you're not going to have any trouble getting her up at 4 a.m. So, okay, this November, we're going to get up at 4 a.m.
Look,
and
I'm looking at go ahead.
She is going to be enthusiastic about doing that.
Look, I've done that. And like, even with my daughter, and now that I'm a little older, because, I was in my mid-30s, man. And we went down there to Arkansas. Come on, Dad, we going up these mountains. It had me all up the side cliffs and everything. I said, you should have told me we were doing all this. But this is the way you teach them. See, a woman, let me tell you something. Women I deal with, certainty. This is a way to bring uncertainty, guys. What Jason is talking about, you're teaching us something that she does not know. And you don't need her to complain about what she ain't going to do. If she want to be with you, she'll get up and go and do it. Now, are you part of the part? Do you play an active role in the gear that she needs to go accomplish these certain outings? Do you take her and say, "Well, hey, this is what you need," because depending archery or whatever you're doing,
you should be instrumental in it. Remember that growth and development thing I told you about. The reason why most men are deficient is because they don't work on gaining real value. Ain't that right, Cam? Real value comes from not just your income. You're just a walking paycheck. How about what you can do? So she wants to go on an adventure and whatnot. I tell her, okay, I got an adventure for you. And away we go. Let me give you another one. If you don't have your boating license, you should. There's a whole bunch of y'all who are missing out on a whole bunch of things if you don't have a boating license. You're missing the ability to take her out way out there in the water and go snorkeling. But you know, another thing you're missing, the ability to go take her out there with a spear. She'll never catch anything. Don't worry about that. But she'll never catch anything. Shark will catch her. But my whole point about it is that's not the point. The point is, have you done an inventory of her life to see what's missing there? When you think about that for a few moments, ask a female, have you ever shot a bow and arrow before? They're all going to tell you the same thing when they were in school, maybe.
High school or junior high.
That's the last time they ever had that. Now, think about that for a few moments. You've taken her back to being a kid again.
That's what it's all about.
You want to talk about passion? That look on her face? Something that she didn't think she could do or whatever, and then she's done it.
She'll never be bored with you, Jason.
Have you gotten a bow and arrow? Have you gotten a crossbow? Have you gotten a boating license? Have you gotten a concealed carry permit?
Yes. And take her with you to the range. And I'm going to tell you something. Ain't nothing wrong with a little skeet shooting either. She'll enjoy that.
Let me tell you, if you go to the range, here's the issue right here. And I have a good assortment of guns of my own, although they got other stuff that you usually don't have. I don't care who she is, especially if she's never been before. But even if she has, I guarantee you there's guns she has not shot when you get there. I guarantee you. Put a AK-47. I love the places that carry those. AK-47, SKS, MAC-10, some of the stuff she hears about in rap videos. And then take video of her shooting it. Now, there's the other thing. Take video of it. What you're showing through your actions that you're invested in what she's doing. That this is an important event for you. And what I'm saying is that as a man, you're seeing to her growth and development. 90% of men are just like, man, shut the hell up with that. Let me just go to work and go home. What I'm saying is you're a damn retiree. Don't be surprised when you find her swinging from the chandeliers with Pookie. He can be bothered to go to the gun range.
That's real talk.
You've given her monotony, and all that says to a female is you stopped developing. You stopped growing. You stopped. That's all it says. In the chat room, see, I've never had that issue before. I've had plenty of females who want to go in helicopters, so I don't know what's going on there. I've never had the problem with a female wanting to do things. The real issue is if she doesn't trust you.
Now, that's what the real
She doesn't
issue.
trust you. She doesn't trust your, quote, leadership. When a woman trusts your leadership, man, she won't go up in the helicopter. She'll jump out the damn thing.
Yeah.
Because she trusts you. So when I tell you all about going adventures, that's why I mentioned the glamping thing. Because I'm always looking for different things, and you all have been taught waterfronts, beaches, waterfronts. Dude, there are more things out there. There are mountains, there are snow caps, there's the desert. What? You live out there in Houston, but you know damn well 2 hours away, West Texas. Even along Interstate 10, I've told you, it's the most beautiful, desolate thing once you start seeing the mesas form, whether you go out I-20 or out I-10, although I prefer I-10 for that trip. You go out heading towards El Paso and all that, when you start seeing the mesas form, it's beautiful. It's the most beautiful thing you ever saw at nighttime. But it's desolate. It's not like going to the beach where you hear the water all the time and the waves crashing. And what I'm saying is you can't get that view at the beach. You can't get that at the 40th floor of the hotel or the Four Seasons overlooking the ocean. That's something you can't get. It's eerie and it's quiet. It's something different and new. She hasn't experienced that before. You go to New Mexico, they have the red sands or the copper colored sands. You go to West Texas with the white sands. So things like that, you got to watch out for critters. But I'm just saying, those are things like that. Most men don't think in that regard, and that gives you value, particularly if you've already done it. She knows if this is your first time with the bow and arrow, or if this is what you do and this is not her first time. Same thing with snorkeling, same thing with swimming, same thing with snowing. Those are all things that acquire your value. Those are all things that do that. Those are all things that raise your value without you having to raise your income, by the way. You don't have to make $1 million. That's raising your value without your income. She's like, oh, there's value in the man himself.
Yes. And they might be saying, Jason, well, I thought women want attention. You are giving her your undivided attention when you're teaching her something. That's attention to a woman too. She's learning something from you. One thing she's never going to say is that she's bored. You know what I'm saying? Because, I used to get a little extreme, but I let them know, hey, we're going to have a kit. And, tell them, if you have to get a cut, a big enough cut, we stitch you up. We did all in the military or whatever. But, in other words, there's no such thing. Let me ask you, is there such thing as a dangerous environment?
Of course there are. And please understand, that's what ignites passion.
I didn't do that.
Because, sir, its value is lowered if there's not an element of danger.
Real talk.
If there is not an actual element of danger, it doesn't have the same level of excitement. That's why they complain about the quote bad boys. Yes, because there is a real element of danger that cannot be faked. It can't be faked.
Oh, you take them women out there, and I'm telling you, I know this work. Take them out in the tent where them grizzly bears at, them wild hogs. She gonna be close to you that night. I'm gonna tell you the truth.
Well, she may or she may not. The real thing is, a woman, whether she tells you or not, is looking for a man who guides her through this world. And everybody done been to the beach. Some of you have been to a gun range. None of y'all got crossbows. None of you. None of you do.
You ain't got to tell, but you got that. I bet you got that permit for that machine gun. Don't say that.
I'm about to say I can neither confirm nor deny. But like I say, the bottom line is in the chat room. What's your name here, Emmanuel? I've been telling y'all that for years. You don't benefit yourself being a homebody. No. This is why men need to have more than one female, because a lot of the guys, you don't want to go anywhere if you're not going with your chick. I understand that. That's why you need to get you a grow with broad if she's the one who's willing to go. You ain't got to stick with her. It's like, okay, she can be your companion while you go do some of this stuff here. And it's like, okay, when you go find a real chick to hang out with, now you've already done that. The real issue is so many fellows are so desperate for sexual access, they're trying to make a wife out of every damn female they meet, as opposed to saying she's here to accompany me on this experience, and then when I get back, she can do what she do or whatever. And then when you meet a chick who you want to take some pictures of, it's like, okay, you've gone out and done your experimentation and your adventuring and whatnot, and now you can bring those experiences back with you. So you can go by yourself, you can go with somebody else, you can go with another chick of varying value. The real thing is, did you go? The real thing is, did you go, or are you going to go out with this chick and this is your first time and you're both learning on the job? And that's okay when y'all are 18 or 21 years old. A 28-year-old female expects you to know something.
Yes.
She doesn't expect it to be your first time. How is she going to have confidence in you when she knows this is your first time?
And that's why Jason was saying, you have to experience these things before they do, or many of them. Go, you do a dry run, go places and do things. And women really appreciate that. Now, Jason, let me ask you something. You said a real significant thing last week about like divorce being on some women's bucket list. And even with getting a man, they looking for a starter husband a lot of times. What are some of the other dysfunctional things that you think that are on a woman's bucket list? And how can you tell when a woman has like that type of messed up goal system?
Starter husbands don't work for females the same way, because the problem with that is that a female, if she's with a guy for the express purposes of having experiences and then moving on to the next man, that doesn't elevate her value the way it does for a man. That's the problem. That's the problem. That is a plus for a man. That adds a value to him. It does nothing for you. Your value is in being new to these things. His value is in already knowing.
Right.
Your value is in not having a body count. His value is in already knowing what to do with a bunch of women. So that's the contradiction of it. You're actually lowering yours.
Now let me ask you, Jason, has there ever been, as you went out and did some things, have there ever been a woman who was how can I say, she may have a father that hunted and did different things like that was kind of on par with you when it came to outdoor activities like that she was already trained in.
Okay, well, here's the issue. If that's real, then you're going to know that when you meet her. She's going to tell you about all that when you meet her. But let's just be honest. Most chicks are city girls. You know, their biggest adventure is at the mall getting a pair of heels. So let's leave it at that. Chick in the chat room talking about somebody had a crossbow. Please sit down. I don't even know who you are. Who are you? Who are you? Never seen your name. They chop out of nowhere. So just please sit down. Sit. But if they already city girls and for today, no, that's not a common thing. If it were, we wouldn't have all this anarchy going on the streets now. So they'd be a whole lot more disciplined because they've been in life and death situations like that. They'd be a whole lot more disciplined. They'd have a whole lot more to talk about. Most females can't even hold a conversation, but that's because they haven't experienced anything. So there's the whole thing about it. You've lived a single life. Let's be clear. The women are accustomed to going to work and going home. And take a look at the movie True Lies, because the movie True Lies, for all of its campiness and whatnot, there's a powerful grain of truth. Jamie Lee Curtis's character, she's like, it's the same thing every day. My husband's a bore. Okay, he's a spy going out there saving the world, but that's not her life.
No.
That's not hers. And what I'm saying is, in the modern era, especially, y'all do realize we're going on 20 years since the iPhone. Think about that for a few moments.
Oh, yes.
Think about that for a few moments. Steve Jobs been gone for a minute. He been dead and gone for a minute. Okay, so what I'm telling you is pretty soon here, Prince, you will have an entire generation of males who have witnessed and explored the world from a 4.5-inch screen. That has been their window to the world. Now, there are some people who are making arguments against porn. The arguments are logical in how they're being articulated. I just don't like some of the things they're going with it, but I can understand what they're saying. What they're saying is that why should males do the things to pursue real sex when they can get vicarious sex? Why should they do that? Why?
Well, I'm going to tell you, because eventually they're going to want to interact in a sexual way with a woman. And you're going to have situations like these passport bros and going to these countries with no type of self-consciousness of knowing how to know when they're in a dangerous situation with a woman who's have feminine attributes, but she's setting you up. They're not going to have any frame of reference for that, Jason. Porn doesn't give you that, because that is a product that's meant to appeal to a certain part of a male's nature. And if that's all you got, that's dangerous, because if a woman is overtly sexual with you like that, you can go blind. And remember what you said? If one of the most dangerous people to be around is a person that you close your eyes next to.
That's all the more reason to make sure that you are a pivotal part of that. That's all the more reason to do that.
Okay.
And, if you're not contributing to their development, then it's not going to work for you. So the real thing is, when I talk about, growth and development and what you're doing and how that, what you're contributing as people and as a person, that's what I'm referring to. I'm talking about that. That's the kind of thing that gives you value, or doesn't. It's the kind of thing that gives you value or doesn't. And I'm not afraid to do that. I think that's a critical element that's missing. That's a critical element that's missing. Because if you are not, you can't be a person who sits up here and, that lack of adventure that we've instilled in them, males today are not realizing that they've lost value because of it. You don't have anything that you're not doing. Going in the military isn't really a substitute because you got females in the military.
Yes.
So regardless of that, females see that as something that's achievable. You throw a crossbow in her hands and all of a sudden it's shut up or put up time. Mm. You take her out to the middle of the Mojave, Sierra Madre, Guadalupe Mountains. You go ahead and do that. And all of a sudden things change, especially if you've already been there. So, but it has to be, these things are a product of what you've done.
Okay, right.
You have developed and you've grown, and now so will she. And she can see that there are things to learn. She can see that. So the real thing is, have you made a path forward and cleared a way for it? It's been my experience. Females follow a man who knows what he's doing. Most males today don't. They don't. They don't have a clue. They've done no exploring. They've done no adventuring of any kind. They have a cell phone in their hands, and what they don't realize is they become an urban retiree and don't realize it. So you become very much similar to the females.
Oh.
You have a safe, sheltered existence, but you want her to accept you as her masculine leader. And that's the issue. Well, don't be surprised when that doesn't work. Or at least don't be surprised when it leaves holes in it. I'm just a guy who's sitting up here saying, hey, by the way, have you considered some of these other things? And the other thing is, a lot of fellas here, they start making excuses. There's no reason at all to not do these things, because it doesn't matter whether she's your girlfriend for a week or for a decade. You're going to benefit from all of those, even if it is nothing more than taking it to the next person. As a man, the more experiences we have, that becomes an asset to us, and we can either enhance the person we're with or take it to the next one. It doesn't work that way for a female. Because it can't work that way. But that's only if that's what you're doing. Oh, yeah, but guess what? You can't do that sitting at the house. You can't do that sitting in front of your TV. You can't do that making up excuses for not doing these things. You can't get there making those excuses. You can't do that.
So are you somewhat making the argument of that what some many women say, there's not a lot of competent men to lead them? And they're not willing, some of them are not willing to double up, on a producer.
I mean, no, women double up on producers all the time. The real thing is there's so few of being a producer is not a financial thing primarily. The finances are what facilitate the other things.
Right.
Most males today are homebodies. There's the real issue. You take a look at these women's Instagrams, they are telling you non-verbally what it is that they're looking for, what it is that they want. They're showing you what it is. And the fellas are trying to ignore it, as opposed to saying, okay, how do I leverage that? Because the bottom line is the advantage you have as a man is that you make more money, at least you should be, and you're always willing to spend more in that regard. The real thing is whether or not they're worth that. Okay, but I assure you, you're probably worth it. And even if this chick is not going to be worth it for 10 years, she's worth it long enough for you to go ahead and do some new things and take it to the next one. And so she can either be an asset or help you become more of one. So it doesn't matter if she messed up her wrist with the bow and arrow. It's like, okay, well, then I can go get that corrected with the next one.
Yes.
And if she wants to bounce, she can. The real thing is, are you using that to develop your value in yourself as a person? If you're doing that, then it's never a waste. Ever. Ever. and
So
you're becoming inexpendable.
Exactly, because there's uncertainty and you becoming inexpendable to the woman. See, guys, and that makes for interesting conversation with the people you deal with, the guys you deal with. When you're going places and you're doing things and being active and actually, I cut some trees. I don't hop up there like I used to, but I use these long pole saws and different things. That a woman should be interested in something that you're doing. Now, you brought up the flower situation. Thank you for saying that, Jason, because I can't stand, I'm an outdoor planting flowers and shrubs, hedges, trees, everything. But I can't stand buying a woman flowers, man. Is there anything else we can do instead of buying them flowers that's going to die?
Yeah, you can do whatever the hell you want to.
I know now, but you want to make sure the woman's straight. Because if you ain't doing, you still got to be competing, but man.
You can do whatever. Look, brother, look here. You can do whatever the hell you want to. I just want you all to understand something here. I'm a grown man in the modern era here in society. We can keep telling ourselves all we want to, that we're going to bring the other person what we want to bring them and what we think they should get, as opposed to they showed you what it was they wanted. My philosophy is very simple, but then again, I was raised, being an entrepreneur and I have no sales. The way you get people to buy from you is showing that you are the quickest route to getting what they want.
Gotcha.
Not, okay, well, here's what I want to give you. You find out what they want, because you shouldn't be talking to somebody unless there's something you want. The reason I need to find out what she wants is because that's the quickest route to getting what I want.
Exactly.
My job is to show her that the quickest route to getting what she wants is giving me what I want. I'm not looking for a raw deal. I'm looking for a straight one. And so the real thing is, are you doing the things that are necessary to facilitate getting that? Or are you trying to figure out how to give them what you're comfortable giving them, even if what you're comfortable giving them is not what they actually want?
Right. Now, Jason, something I've been wanting to ask you for a while. Is a woman's political affiliation or position, is that an issue that you factor in, or is that a deal breaker with you? Like, say she's a registered Republican. I ain't saying that's an issue, or she's a Democrat or whatever it is, or she has certain strong political views.
A female will change her religion if she loves you.
Real talk.
So, no, that wouldn't really bother me. It would concern me about other things she may have done. She's prone to go off and aborting kids or something.
Yes.
I don't care what your political affiliation is. But, if you're registered Republican, you on the Candace Owens bedwench thing, I'll pass. But, that's got less to do with her political affiliation and much more to do with her behavior. But if a woman is into you, dude, you live long enough, they'll flip religions, they'll flip political parties, they'll go back to school, they'll quit school. So if she sees you as her best option and you've changed her life, she's going to follow where you're going. And she's going to adapt herself to you. So that's why I told you all for years. If she's not becoming more like you, that's your telltale sign. She's not really into you like that. If she's really into you like that, she's changing the way she does things. So if you are of a different political persuasion, she's going to immediately start moving in that direction because she admires you and she wants to see what it is about that you like so much. And assuming that you're able to competently and adequately explain it, now at that point she can't really argue with it. Now what you've really done is make a great argument for her to start changing herself. Okay.
And my last question to you, Jason. Which one would be more egregious if when you're doing your interviews of a woman you're going to be dealing with? Her being a full-blown bed wench, or she used to be a lesbian or something, a full-time stud. Which one, or does it really matter?
Yeah, both of those are going to be huge problems. Both of those are going to be big problems right there. Both of those are going to be big problems because they're signs of deeper issues. Okay. They're signs of deeper issues. I've always told you all, a chick who has a high body count's got some chicks in it. So it goes hand in hand. It goes hand in hand. It goes hand in hand.
You proved that. I saw that happen with a few celebrities. I say, Jason called it.
You show me a chick who's sleeping with some chicks and she slept with a lot of dudes. You show me a chick who slept with a lot of dudes, there's some chicks up in there. Show me a chick who slept with a lot of females and there's a lot of dudes and a lot of females in there. So it's just, there's the real thing about it. So that's the reason why that's an issue. That's the reason. It's not about having a chick who wants to do some freaky stuff and y'all can finally have that foursome you've been waiting for the last 30 years. It's really about understanding, okay, when you go down that road with this chick, she's not sitting in a closet the whole day in standby mode. If she's prone to lay up with other women, you got a chick who lays up with other women. Her sexuality is not going to be a static thing.
Fluid.
Yeah, I mean, she's a sexual thrill seeker. Okay, if that's what you want in a woman and you're ready to accept everything that comes with it, then go ahead and do that. But you trying to make a commitment. All right, well, that's not what you just described. That's not commitment material. So when you see certain behaviors, you just need to recognize the difference between a chick you want to lay up with versus one you want to make a commitment to. Versus one who may not be worth the trouble, period. It just depends. But that would be my answer to you is that would be like asking me, do I want to get my head chopped off or, burned off? It's neither one of those would be one that I would be anxious for. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me go ahead and see if I can get Eric. I've got Eric up here on Zoom. At least I think I got Eric here on Zoom. I'm waiting to see here. Waiting to see if Eric gets his Zimbabwe broadband going. Okay, there you go. All right, Eric, why do you look like you in an episode of Cops?
Hey, I'm doing it, bro.
Okay, I don't have you on the screen, so you don't have to worry about it, but I'm just okay. He's looking like he's in an episode of Cops.
I'm trying to be like you, big dog. 84 hours a week, man.
Okay.
7 nights a week. So, yeah, man, great program, man. You read my mind this week. I was wondering about your commentary on this subject, but what I was thinking about was the choice of attire between the Nick Cannon, the financially successful person, versus the Cam Newton, physically successful person in the NFL. So, of course, she dressed totally down like a grandmother for Nick Cannon, but dressed, kind of showing, she was kind of choosing on Cam Newton. She was saying things, but the attire was looking kind of like she kind of wanted to see what Cam Newton was gonna say,
Yeah, let me go ahead and get something here for Dr. Cheyenne right quick. Give me just a moment so I can show you something here. Let me show y'all something. All right, that's from on your screens right now. You'll see it in a minute here, but on y'all screens right now, that is Dr. Cheyenne's Instagram. And lo and behold, you see this picture over here. You see this picture over here. I'm going to go ahead and click on that so y'all can see that there. But it's like, okay. Now, obviously, he chose her for a reason. That's cool and everything. But I just couldn't help but notice myself. They do look rather chummy. So she's looking for a sponsor. She's looking for a sponsor, especially at this point right now, because it's real tacky that she's doing all this talking and stuff here. And, like I say, it's just with all the so-called high value men that should be interested in her, and it ain't really happening. So she can't be taken seriously. Even that fake serious that they give to Ciara, she can't be taken seriously until she actually closes the deal. So I'm thinking there's less daylight between her and Cam than she wants to let on. Obviously.
Okay. Yeah, because that was real weird to me. It's like, I'm saying things. Something though. I'm saying things, but I'm showing my actions saying different. So that's what I was thinking about. I was like, that was real weird. She's like, oh yeah, you're you got 8 kids, and I'm gonna slight you by saying, yeah, I thought you had 4 kids, but yeah, 8 kids, 3 baby mamas. But what you trying to do tonight? That's what she dressed up like, So I
mean,
just
look,
thought
she
that was
knows what
really
she's doing. I mean, she's there in front of the cam and stuff, and she's just going to tell you she's showing off her wares. But the bottom line is, you don't get as old as she is in the circles she's in and whatnot. And that's not happening. So she's really, what's happening right now is she's letting the world know that, that sound.
Yeah,
that she understands it. She's not stupid. Yeah. She gets it. She knows it's doing what it do. So she's getting herself out there. What she thinks is that doing these interviews and stuff like that, she's going to be high profile enough that she's going to get the attention of a producer who's going to be tall, dark, and handsome and give her the look she's always thought she's supposed to have. What she doesn't understand is that, taking Cam to task was one thing, but all the men heard all the rest of the stuff you were saying too.
Right.
And that's a package deal. You're going to be a bunch of problems. You're just going to be a bunch of problems. So who's the fella who wants to step up and get a great big sandwich of this?
Right. So look, what did you think about I know you didn't talk about the difference between both, but what did you think? She just thinks that Nick Cannon's just a lame, so she didn't doctor it up for him.
Okay, I'll be honest with you. I didn't hear her say anything about Nick. If she did, I missed that part.
No, I'm saying she actually did an interview with Nick. That's what I meant.
Well, if you're saying that she kind of reacted differently with him, maybe it's because she got to Cam later and felt like she could take more liberties, or maybe she's known Cam differently or whatever. I will just say, if she did talk about it differently, I'm not really sure why or what she said differently, but there's no real difference between the two. There really isn't. And I got folk in them circles there and stuff, and I'm not being insulting about it. I'm gonna call it for what it is. You can't, what Nick is doing, I know why Nick is doing what he's doing, and it's not gonna help. Nick has health issues.
Oh, really?
And Nick has been hospitalized a few times. So Nick's got a chronic condition that can be psychologically and emotionally debilitating, especially if you're not an old man. So, you're supposed to be high profile. You're supposed to be an executive in Nickelodeon and stuff like that. It's like executives ain't supposed to never get sick. Okay, and I get it. So that can take a toll on you. How do you feel like a man? You sitting in the damn hospital, with IVs on you. That's the definition of not dominant. So especially if you feel like you could die. So when you get out the hospital and stuff, it can change your view of things, but you also might start doing things you shouldn't be doing. You're treating it like the end of the world when it's actually not the end of the world just yet. It's been a bad day, or in his case, maybe a bad week. So now you're coming out of it like, I got a second lease on life. Let me go get all the hoes pregnant. It's like, okay, you took that too far.
Yeah, no doubt.
Cam doesn't even have that excuse. So at least in Nick's case, I know what's fueling it. Not a great look. In Cam's case, he doesn't even have that excuse. He's just throwing it away because I think he thinks he's being rebellious against his father.
Really?
Yeah, I think he thinks he's being rebellious against his father. You know how it is, the Catholic school kids and whatnot. I mean, the ones who do the most laying up is the Catholic school girls. They're being rebellious and whatnot. So in Cam's case, I think there's a bit of that going on. And, we're going to show them, I can rebel and stuff like that. It's a hell of a thing when an adult is still going through a rebellious phase. Okay, but now you're handing your fate over to a bunch of random chicks.
Yeah.
Who are going to have power over you for the rest of your days.
Look, last question for you though. I'm thinking like, why her? Why now? Is there some like political issue that why is she being brought to the forefront? Like who? I mean, like why is this person now being like, Doctor Who? I mean, I always look at stuff for a reason. Like, why is this person being brought to these platforms? Like, is there some kind of political reason in your estimation?
Well, no. It's a social reason. Look, I mean, bottom line is, I mean, she has a lot of the ingredients that you'd be looking for. She is articulate. She's got a position. You know, she has, as Jim Rome called it, she has a take. You know, she's got positions. She can explain them. She has some rational basis in her positions, even if they're not necessarily completely logical in their integrity. So as far as having a co-host or somebody to interview and whatnot, she's exactly what you'd be looking for. She's not an old maid. She's got a pair of chesticles to hang out. You know, so all the things you're looking for. She doesn't look like Sita Bay, you know, or KRS-Three. Yeah, she doesn't look like them, you know. So what's his name? Burke. Tarana Burke. So she doesn't look like them. So in the internet era, she's got like 1 million followers on Instagram. So in the internet era, I mean, in the chat room, she's got the thirst trap thing down already. So she's a thirst trap with an opinion. The difference is she's available. And she's not she's not a baby mama sitting up here, because we done had it with that. Brittany Renner ain't got nothing to say to us anymore. So like I say, she's got a lane for herself that is highly desirable in that regard. Now, whether or not she can make a run of it is a different matter, because I see some problems already in that regard. But she's having a little minute right now. We'll see what happens in a year. I mean, I'm sorry, we'll see what happens. We don't even get a year. We'll see what happens in a month. But I mean, that's it. I figured Cam's probably going to have her back a few times or whatever. But she presents well. She talks well. She can have an engaging conversation. She doesn't say a bunch of things you necessarily agree with. She's got some rational positions. So, I mean, that right now, there's a place in podcasting for any female who's like her right now. There has been for the last decade. Most of these women are trying to figure out how to get by on looks. And the bottom line is there's a whole bunch of females with looks. They don't demonstrate they have any brains. Like it or not, she's got some brains about her. So that alone makes her unique.
So would you I know you don't run from anything, so that would be an excellent program if you did. You came up with that, you know, because I mean, not saying that you would roast her. I know you give her a chance to say her piece, but you know, like you said, it was a lot of things that she was just like, man, she was just on Cam. Like,
yeah, I mean,
you know, I think
if she were to talk to, first of all, folks don't want to talk to me if they want to keep their careers going. But if she did, first she would be talking like she does to Cam, and I would have to settle her down. And then after that, she would be asking me a bunch of questions, which is the real big difference. You don't see her asking Cam any questions. That's the sign. I told y'all about that. That's the sign from a female that she doesn't think she has anything to learn from you. She's not asking any questions. Cam doesn't have any ideological superiority. He can't debunk any of her points. She's an authority over him, which is why every time she talked over him, he shut up. So she was the intellectually dominant person, the emotionally dominant person. She's not really used to it. She doesn't have a lot of experience with men who are beyond that. So she has a low opinion of men. However, the real thing is she keeps gravitating to men that she can dominate. So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. She dominates you and then claims all these men are weak, as opposed to being somewhere else. So if she actually were in an environment that was set for that and ready for that, she would have a totally different reaction.
But let me ask you this though. The last question. Since he has like an untraditional life, and it would seem that he can't be tamed, is that appealing to somebody like that, like her?
Appealing only to the extent that he's an easy mark, and she knows it.
I got you.
Please understand, females see the world of they see survival sex differently than men do. So that's why women keep orbiters, and they keep high income, I didn't say high value, high income orbiters to the extent they can. So just in case all hell breaks loose and there's not another option and she needs to make a decision right now, okay, break glass in case of emergency. Come here, Cam. And she's going to try her best. They try their best to hold him. So it's really about what their options are.
Okay, well, $1 sign, big dog.
Thank you very much, brother. This is The Biz. Yeah, like I said, I mean, if Cam were available, it'd be an easy mark and she could go for it, because all the females looking at him know he's an easy mark. I mean, he got 8 kids by 3 different females. It's very, very obvious. You know, he is a very easy lick to take down. He's not a hard target. He's an easy score. Easy. And they all know it. If you hang around him long enough, it's going to be another score. And you know it. So that's all. I didn't say she wants him. Women don't want their orbiters. They settle for them if there is something that they want. And they realize that they ain't coming together like that. Please remember, when the female starts closing in on 40, she can't compete in the sexual marketplace on Instagram and all that anymore. In the chat room here, Brother Emmanuel, stop posting the same thing over and over again. How do you deal with ADHD chicks? You don't. Calm down, dude. You don't. What? Why don't you call me up on Zoom, man? You just call me up on, get out of the chat room. You can just call me up on Zoom. Let me go ahead and, you're timed out in the chat room, brother. You got issues. That's what the Zoom is for. So call me up on Zoom, man. You're in a crisis, obviously. You are obviously in a crisis. Whoever this chick is got you tied knots. Okay, you need to just click the Zoom link and call me up so we can deal with your crisis in real time here. Y'all, he is just flummoxed with it. His back is against the wall. He just can't take it no more. Jason, she ADHD. I'll be damn, nigga. Stop dating hoes down there at the group home. What? Yeah, brother, you can't keep going to the damn methadone clinic and then talking, Jason, I'm dating this chick. She ADHD. No, she on drugs. Damn. That's all it is to it. She on the pipe. What do I do? She ADHD. Where did you meet her? Well, they was having a special ed clinic. She was the size 16 in the wheelchair. She was winking at me. Well, actually, she has a twitch, but I know it's for me. Every time I call her, she says a different nigga name. She ADHD. Brother, are you sure it's ADHD? Oh, hell, speaking of which, Dan's on the damn phone. Oh, Lord, hopefully it's not another Tales from the Dark Side. I hope I ain't woke nothing up. Oh, I hope I ain't woke nothing up. I'm talking about the disabled, and then Dan calls me up. I'm like, oh, I might not be ready. Okay, unmute yourself, Dan.
You can hear me?
Yes, sir. What's on your mind? Okay, Dan's on his Zimbabwe broadband.
I can't even. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Dan. Your bandwidth's kind of low. Your bandwidth's kind of low, but I can hear you.
I think I want to ask you something though. I know this is kind of like a rhetorical question, but I would like your thoughts on this. My Cam got 8 kids, right? And I know 2 of them is not biologically his, because I heard him say that he the first baby mama he got with, I think she already had 2 kids or had 1 kid or something like that. Now, what if he would have had full custody of all his children living under his household? But that would still make it the same or make a little difference?
No, first of all, that would never happen. The only reason he's doing this is because he does not have to cohabitate with the consequences of his actions. So he can sit up here and spawn kids, and then he just runs off and leave them with the woman there and whatnot, and so he just goes about his business. And he just tiptoes through to see them, so he sees his kids as a hobby. See, fatherhood is intrusive. Fatherhood interrupts what you're already doing because it's going to take priority. So the worst thing in the world is when you try to be a part-time father. No, fatherhood interrupts whatever in the world you want to be priority before. This is going to take priority now. He doesn't want that. And so by definition, he would never have allowed that.
Yeah, I do think it hit different if conversation with another man versus having that conversation with the doctor, because I know for a fact he didn't take her serious, because it's kind of looked like she was campaigning for him for a little bit, even though she was eating him up intellectually. But, but me knowing what I know, they usually go out the window when she look at him as a victim too. So,
well, I mean, first of all, let me deal with that thing with what you just talked about there. You know, Cam sees fatherhood the way that most women see marriage. They want the wedding, not the marriage. So he wants the children, not the fatherhood. So that's the reason he's doing that. So he wouldn't go in that direction. As far as the chicks who come around and whatnot, like I say, I mean, definitely they'll try to do that for a minute and whatnot. I don't think he's a powerful, compelling personality. If a female is looking for an opportunity, if he runs into an opportunistic female, that's when it happens. It doesn't happen any other way. So he's an easy lick. And what I'm saying is, don't think that she was warming up to him, because she wasn't. She's not warming up to him. What she's doing is working a mark. She established dominance. He sat there and took it. She's working a mark. So if she want to come back to him for something, she can. Because for her, she has no problem having sex with Cam and getting financial benefits out of him, and just as long as she doesn't get pregnant by him. So her being a, quote, smart female, that'd be the route she would go.
Yeah, because when she did the interview with Nick Cannon, she talked about how she been divorced like 4 times or something like that. She 41, no kids. Been
Yeah.
or
engaged? Has she been divorced? Was she divorced or was she engaged? I mean, like she broke off her engagements. I forget which one it was.
If my memory served me correctly, I don't want to put words in. I believe that I think I heard her say that she been married. I know it was something with marriage or engagement 4 times. It's one of the two. I don't know which one. And Nick asked her who was at fault that all 4 of those marriages or engagement didn't work out. And she say, well, it was with a few of it was me. It's kind of like she kind of copped out to a little bit. Then but she didn't take the responsibility. In other words, it's kind of. I think it's kind of like
I think she was saying that she's been engaged.
You know what I'm saying? But she didn't take the full responsibility. But I got the.
I think she said that she's been engaged a few times, but the real issue becomes, once again, I mean that doesn't, engagements don't count. That doesn't count. To be totally honest with you all, marriages don't count either. What? I mean, let's just be. I'm gonna have to update y'all's files.
Join me. I will complete your training.
This idea that we're going to that if a chick has gotten married, that's the end all be all. There really needs to be a recalibration of that. That's outrageously simplistic analysis of it. That today folks are getting married like you go through the drive-through at In-N-Out Burger. If you don't dig into that marriage and find out some things, I can't congratulate somebody on the marriage if I don't know the details. If I don't know the details and the nuts and the bolts, I'm not going to sit here and congratulate that. How long have you known each other? What's her situation and what's his situation? Is he a sponsor? Is he a simp? Is he somebody I want to be like? So those things matter in that regard. With engagements, for females, that could mean anything. A woman will claim she engaged, no ring, no nothing. So I don't give that. You can't give that any credence or weight or credibility at all. You can't do that. Because it doesn't mean anything. What does I've been engaged 3 or 4 times mean? I mean, what does that really mean? What are you trying to say?
Yeah.
What kind of relationship did y'all have? Why are you with a man that you're engaged to and you all didn't get married? And how the hell, most people can't get engaged once. You've been engaged 2 or 3 times and then didn't get married. What kind of relationships you got? That word doesn't mean very much when a man gets with you, apparently.
Yeah, because and by the way, I was what's the word, paraphrasing? Because I was kind of paraphrasing it, but you're right when you talk about congratulating on somebody's marriage, because I know, because me personally, I know a lot of dudes usually who in my personal life who didn't get, and a lot of chicks who didn't get married. I'll be kind of shaking my head or scratching my head. I'll be like, hey, congratulations. But then I'll be thinking to myself, like, I do be thinking to myself, like, well, I'm congratulating her because she's ready for the streets and saw a sucker, and he really need her.
I can name 6 females right now who they got married within a calendar month of being in, a calendar year of being in my DMs. What? I can name 6 off the top of my head right now. 6. Now, you know me. I don't put their business out there, but I'm just like, by the way, when I see them on the timeline, when I see them in their stories and whatnot, and then I see the dude, I'm like, all right, go ahead, fella. And it's just like, if you knew, although in many cases it might not matter if they know, because you know how dudes are today. It's just, they believe what they want to believe.
Yeah, and they don't check no phone. They don't check no inboxes going back 5-10 years. None of that crazy in the mom, man.
In the chat room, Kia, it's not crazy. It's common. It's not crazy. It's common. This is not, like I say, this is not some freak event or some exception to the rule. Most of the women out here today, quote unquote, getting married, you were the guy they settled for. Because she thought you were the best she could do at that time and you was a bailout. I mean, we really just need to be honest about that. Let's stop playing fantasy games here. That's the way women get down now. The whole thing is to make the men think that's not the case. But I'm just telling you all right now, your favorite YouTubers, your favorite folk on Instagram or whatever, you'd be surprised the chicks who end up in the DMs. You'd be surprised who's there. If you've gotten married, you don't want to know what she been DMing within the last year. You don't want to know.
And truth to be told, Jason, fuck the DM. Excuse my French. How many some of them chicks then got a back blown out?
Oh, that all go with it. That all go with it. If niggas is willing to fly them out, that all go. Of course, they usually fly themselves out. That all goes with it. So just there's the ones they hit up and took them up on their offer, and then there's the ones who didn't. And dudes, that's what fellas are marrying today. They're not marrying virgins. They're not marrying chaste females. They're not marrying conservative women. That's not what's happening. That isn't what's happening. That's not what they're getting. You're seeing a disturbing trend. These guys are getting married to these chicks. They're running down the damn altar. Chicks are getting pregnant on them. He's a weak little sad sack. It's a bunch of
every day.
The pension pimps are out here thinking they doing something slick. That's a big issue we have. So it's a lot of fellas out here who their sexual options are just bare, and they're taking whatever they become scavengers, and that's who's getting married today are the scavengers. Well, who's getting married today is basically there's just a gulf. There's the alphas and there's the scavengers. And the problem is the scavengers don't really know that they are. They think that they're doing great. Well, yeah, relative to how you've been doing, I suppose, having regular sexual access, but you didn't really choose her. She was the one who accepted you, and she did not choose you. Did you check that passion quotient? If you let me sit down and talk to her for 15 minutes and you know some of the things I'm going to ask, and even if she lies, I'm going to get to the bottom of it. And when you start hearing things that you never heard before and start seeing the gravity of it, then you start, feeling differently about that. You start seeing it differently. Most guys today are off in their own little isolated closets. And so they deliberately wall themselves off from the world. Yeah, but as a result, you are willfully ignorant. There's information you don't know. If you knew that your chick was in another man's DMs, within the same calendar year that she was telling you, you the love of her life, let's get married, would that affect the way you feel? Or would you let her tell you, well, when it's true love, you ain't got to wait around? Okay. Do you believe it? Are you going to go for that? A lot of fellas here do, man. They don't do their due diligence. They're desperate to finally be out of that drought they're in. And that's it.
And truth to be told, a lot of them, and I could say this because I see it all the time, like around my personal life, you know what I'm saying? Like my everyday going. A lot of the dudes that's getting married that I see now, not just the old niggas, these young dudes too. They know that the chicks who they marry wasn't their first option. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't digging them first. You was chasing her down. You know what I'm saying? When she was out there doing what she doing. Or you allow her to run some type of game on you.
Well, I mean, look,
you know what I'm saying?
Today, if you're a young fella, quote unquote, getting married, I'm talking about in your like early 20s, it's one of two things. Either it's your high school crush and she hasn't developed out of that yet, or she thinks you got a future and she's not willing to compete for the guy in medical school because he's got too many options. She don't really want to throw elbows over there. She's looking for the path of least resistance and she thinks she's found a prospect. So if you're looking for regular sexual access and she sees that, so you're both looking for the path of least resistance. This could work so long as she never outgrows it. Because you'll be fine if she stays just the way she is. If she ever outgrows that and starts getting ideas in her head that she has better options, now you're in trouble. And that's generally the way that turns out. That's usually the way that turns out. Eventually you find out that she outgrew it and now she's telling the world she outgrew you. And there's nothing to stop her because all of her family and friends are telling her that's perfectly fine. People just grow apart. Okay, but she made vows to this man. Would you have walked down that aisle with her if she had told you, by the way, to have and to hold unless I outgrow you? Would you still have done it? If you knew that that's her real position, to have and to hold in sickness and death, unless I'm no longer happy, unless I outgrow you, unless I just mature, unless we grow apart. Would you still do that? Well, no, of course you wouldn't. Now, would you do it if you knew her family would back the play? That when she starts talking to him like that, her mama and her daddy didn't tell her, that's your husband, get your nappy ass back over there. Her mom and her daddy have been, well, folks grow apart, baby. Need some help moving your stuff? Would you still marry her under those circumstances? Look, the bottom line is over 50% of marriages fail, like 2/3, when you take a look at the long tail of it. Everybody's trying to convince you they found some Shangri-La and it's a damn lie. Everybody's trying to convince you that. I'm one of the few people who just keeps it real with you. Everybody else is trying to convince you that they found some promised land and everything's so great and stuff, and they go straight to social media with it. Because that's become their currency. That's why I tell the fellas about with Ben Affleck and stuff, man, that picture, the video with J-Lo in the car showing herself and Ben. I'm like, okay, if it was really about him, why is he just showing him? Why are you showing the both of you together? You trying to stunt. That's not the reason to get married, is to stunt.
That's what that's all of them doing that. That's normal. They all doing that. Marriage or not, they all doing that.
Well, yeah, because that's how low the bar is today. So many females don't have a dude. And okay, here's the implication. The implication is that if he's driving the car, A, it's his car, and B, he running things and taking her places. So it's supposed to signify something, especially when they take a look down their timelines and see that the rest of the chicks around them are quote unquote miserable. But in reality, that's not really what's going on. This is a political statement. She's showing this for political reasons. How much she's into this guy, you don't know. You just know that she's trying to present this to you because there's something she's trying to compensate for of herself. So it's like a fella who takes a Lamborghini to the ghetto. You're flossing in front of a bunch of poor people. What do you win for doing that? What do you win for impressing a bunch of people who could never do this? You're not going to the folk who could do this and competing over there. You're showing this to a bunch of folk who don't have anything. I find it hard to believe you truly value that car. You value the effect you think it has on other people, not the car itself. You won't have it very long. You won't. Because you can only go and floss in front of them 1 or 2 times. Then that wears off. They're no longer impressed. They've seen it already. Now it's just you in the car, and the car payments, and the insurance, and the repairs. Now it's just you in the car. Are you still as enthusiastic about it now? Now that it no longer impresses people? Are you still enthusiastic about it? That's what really ends these marriages and whatnot, is when they can no longer floss about it. Now you two have to just live with each other. There is no glamour. Nobody cares what you post on your social media. The paparazzi's not showing up. There aren't going to be any interviews. No, it's just you and you. Doesn't matter if y'all spend a bag or not. Nobody really cares. Are you still as equally invested? And what you're finding out is they're not. That's what you find out. Now it moves on to the next step, which is, by the way, she had the thrill of getting married. The only thing she hasn't had yet is the thrill of getting divorced. That's the only thing she hasn't done yet.
And if she do divorce you, I think you know the rest of it. And I think you know what's gonna happen once she filed for divorce, and she's gonna be back on social media and start stunning with that.
Well, I mean, I think the bad thing here today is that, fellas been screaming about alimony, and that's not a factor in a lot of men's lives. The real thing is going through divorce period is a damn hassle. Alimony or not, it's a damn hassle, man. It's a whole damn waste of time. So that alone, for her, she is all upside, even if she divorces you. So it's a damn hassle to men. That's not good. That's not good. And as the divorce attorney James Sexton said, everybody, he said it always happens the same way. He said every couple that walks into my office, they were posting pictures on their Instagram talking about how great marriage was right up until the day they walked in my office.
Yeah, well, that's all I got to say, man. And I'm gonna continue to listen and continue to watch, man.
Thank you very much for giving us a call. Yeah, I mean, look, they're going to sit there and tell you everything's great and everything's wonderful right up until the day they walk in his office. They're taking selfies. The fella doesn't even know that Mack truck is coming. They sitting there taking selfies and smiling with you right up until the day she go plop them papers on old boy's desk. So I just want y'all to understand, people they give their pretenses and stuff, especially if they have something to sell. Women have image to sell. And in this day and era where the degree hustle isn't working anymore, nobody's impressed by your degrees anymore. So you can't really go floss that in front of other females. So if you're a woman with your degrees, the men don't care and the women aren't impressed. So the degree hustle is gone ahead and played out. So now they've moved on to the matrimony hustle. And then they go around and lie and claim that they got a man who's doing great and fabulous and wonderful things for them until you check the paperwork and the pedigree. And then you find out ain't nothing going on there either. So it's just, yeah, there's that. Over in the super chat here, I want to thank everyone who's contributed to support tonight's program. Thank you very much for your support here. We appreciate that. Taking a look here at Christopher James Wright. He said, a friend of mine's, he's very inexperienced with women, and he told me a single mother gave him her number. Well, they are aggressive. They have to be. And they are talking. She's 35. He's 27. Of course. He's never had a girlfriend. Yikes. Should I warn him or let him learn? Just try to warn him and then fall back, because it's going to be very limited what you can do. She going to do things with him that you can't do. The bottom line is, the reason why as men it is so damnably hard to help other men avoid obvious problems is because at the end of the day, that chick, she doing things with him that we ain't going to be doing. you can sit up here and unlock the whole damn code. He gonna sniff that perfume. He's gonna feel the warmth of her hand on his thigh, and he done forgot everything you just said. Everything you just said just flew out the window. Especially if he doesn't have a bunch of options. Everything it's gonna be hard to keep him focused. She's doing things with him that you ain't doing. And the problem is she can always play the can we talk card. Now, when the female knows she about to lose a man, she like, okay, let me throw this triple X on him. So both of you just said the same thing to him. You said, hey, bro, let me talk to you. When you say let me talk, you mean let me talk. When she says let me talk, yeah, it might be some triple X. It's probably gonna be some triple X action going on. He done forgot everything you said, everything you warned him about. And so there's only gonna be so much ability you're gonna have. There's only so much your influence you're gonna have under those circumstances. So if you can warn him, yeah, he hasn't had enough experiences. Single moms are predatory. She's older than him by almost a decade. So she has a lot more life experience, especially if it looks like he's gainfully employed. Oh, she is on her get him before he gets me. I'm going to get me a younger fella. Yeah, because she feels like she got taken advantage of. So now she feels she has the right to go out and go take advantage of somebody else. She doesn't think that she needs to not be predatory. She thinks now she has a permission to be predatory because, well, none of these men are any good. Well, this guy hasn't done anything to you. And she's saying, yeah, yet. He hasn't done anything yet. So let me go ahead and get him before he gets me. I need to get him before he gets me. So that's what you end up doing. All right, let me go ahead and see. I got Miss Miko here. Well, hello to our favorite 49-year-old traveling nurse.
I'm off tonight.
Okay, baby, what's on your mind?
So I was looking at the listening to, and his body language and her body language. If she could be chosen, she was hard choosing. If she could have been chosen after this interview, they would have banged.
I certainly think for status reasons, she would entertain his company for status reasons, maybe, but only if she can do it from a position of strength. She ain't gonna try to get married to him, but certainly it would raise her this would be a good career move for her, so that it would be transactional for her, socially transactional.
Jason, look at the body language. This man got his legs crossed. He knew coming in what time it was. Look at her body language, her dress. Now, she's a beautiful woman. And me being 49 and, listening to, we over the hill like Blueberry, but she hard choosing. And if Cam would have came at her, she would have gave him a chance. Because speaking from my experience, I would have. If nobody would have known, just being honest.
I'm sure you would have, absolutely. But no,
whatever, damn Jason.
Look. The bottom line is, she'd already been on Nick Cannon, as I understand it. Then okay, fine. By the time she gets to Cam and whatnot, she knows this is her second time to have a national outing. So yes. she went dressed to get attention for her platform. What's she trying to do? So she put her all into it. She got her Spanx on. Trying to curve her as much as that damn thing is up in there screaming. But
she got the reverse BBL going on.
Yeah, I mean she's done the whole damn 9 yards.
She's a beautiful sister.
So
she's a beautiful sister, nice shape.
She got the makeup. The makeup was put on by the Miracle Whip people. So they went ahead and did that. So, but the bottom line is, look, she went there to make an impression. She wanted to make sure that you had something to see. Don't go check out my Instagram. So, I mean, certainly this was a good career move. I don't think that she was trying to campaign to him. She was trying to campaign to all the millions of eyeballs who saw it. That's what she was campaigning for. She's calculating. Okay? She's calculating.
For sure.
She's thinking about how she parlays these things into something else for her. And when you go to her Instagram, that's what you see. When you go to her Instagram, that's what you see. She's talking about a women's event 3 days ago, which actually is happening today. She's going to be in Miami, Florida on the 14th. Let me go ahead and pop this up on the screen for you all so you all can see what I'm talking about here. Let me go ahead and show you from Instagram here when she talked to Cam Newton. So for those of you who are not by your phones or your computers, you can go ahead and take a look at that. Okay, there she is talking to Cam Newton. You can see those right there. She's got some stills and some stuff from it. So she put up like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 posts that were from her and Cam Newton. Then she's in some director's chair. She's in some car somewhere, sitting in the backseat of something. I guess she's supposed to be chauffeured around. And of course, she's making sure her breasticles are in full view. The filters make her look like a cartoon AI character. Yeah, but she knows what she's selling.
Because this picture you showing right now, you could tell that's filtered. Because at that age, you wrinkled, baby. She's a beautiful chick. I'm not taking that from her. But yeah.
Next thing here is at Atlanta Airport Marriott. That was September 7th. Now, just take a look at that 3 days ago. Then she puts up another post. After this is no more about Cam. It's about what's she doing. So I'm going to be in Atlanta on the 7th. I'm going to be in Miami on the 14th. So yeah, I mean, this is what I'm saying. She's parlaying that. She's parlaying that. Let me see. What did you do here?
On this panel with Miami, Florida with these,
So yeah, I mean that's her whole thing is how can I use this and parlay it? And I'm not hating. I mean it's good marketing. So she wasn't really trying to appeal to Cam, in my opinion. I think she was really more for all the eyeballs that would be watching and would be glumming on to it. So it was marketing for her.
But coming from a woman. Just looking at Kim body language, them legs stayed crossed. He was closed off for her the whole interview. Look at that thigh.
I don't think so. Cam ain't closed off to nobody. It's just you got too many kids and too many women for that. No, I think he thinks he looks sophisticated. I think he thinks he looks sophisticated, which is what you do when you think you're talking to someone who may not respect your intelligence. Okay,
I feel you.
In his case, I can understand why he would think that. Yeah. And when you see their interaction, I mean, she was cutting him off the whole damn time. She was dominating this whole thing.
Yes, she did.
In my opinion, he was doing that in an attempt to look more sophisticated because you're afraid you're talking to somebody, she's a doctor and she won't respect my intelligence. And he spent a whole bunch of his time trying to defend himself and qualify himself. So in my opinion, that's more what you're seeing there. That's more what you were seeing.
Big bro, when you say a doctor, when you think about doctor, you think somebody that can take you in the OR and do an operation, me being an RN. But she's a doctor as far as paper. If you got any medical issue that need a surgery, she can't pull a scalpel on you. So that's what I'm not understanding. But I understand what you're saying. But it makes sense. But what
she's got her little credentials. So
yeah, she got a credential. She got an alphabet soup behind her name. But when she started talking about her dad, how are you going to talk about your dad, Don Cam, and then talk about your dad? I'm like, bitch, your dad, Uncle Ricky? Because my uncle got 8 kids by several different women, and he's like Cam Newton, but although he's deceased. But I'm like, how you gonna dog this man and your dad did the same damn thing, but you a daddy's girl?
Well,
Make up your mind.
What she did there was expose why it is that we as men don't want to hear about your dads. Because it's always something hypocritical, and your perspective on your father is probably not going to be ours. That's the issue. Exactly. Your perspective on your dad is most likely not going to be ours. And I don't care how much you esteem your father, you don't esteem him for even if I did, you don't esteem him for the reasons I would. So all the things that make him a plus for you, they either don't matter to us as men or it's not the same thing. We have something else involved there. But when you talk to these chicks, then you find it's like, you lionizing a man that I don't even want to be like. And there's the missing thing to it. You can't brag to us about your dad unless we want to be like him.
Right.
That unless you got that, we don't. It's immaterial.
Right.
Case in point, as a woman, you don't give a damn how well we like our moms. You're not looking to run your house the way our mothers do.
Remember on Baby Boy when Yvette told Joe, "Well, then go fuck your mama then."
Yeah, a woman is not looking for. Then y'all don't like that when a man tries to. Well, my mama would, and my mama did this. You don't want to hear that for a second. The only thing you want is, okay, did your mother raise you correctly? Okay, thanks, mom. I'll take it from here. I'll take him from here. No, mom, you can go back home. I got your son from here. I'll handle the business. You don't want to hear that. And so as men, we don't want to hear that about your dad neither. He's a fine, upstanding citizen, law-abiding citizen. That's great. That's wonderful. Dad, I'll take it from here. I'll take it from here. Okay, you did a good enough job. I didn't leave that heifer with like the other ones. Pat yourself on the back. You're done. I asked for your daughter, not your help.
Right. Hey, I get it. I wish you was around when I was 20, when all this stuff when I was in my early 20s, because this would have really helped. But it makes sense. Now, just sit back looking at the world, I'm like, man, these motherfuckers got the whole game all effed up. This shit, it's hilarious.
Baby, you still on the prowl now.
Huh?
You still on the prowl now.
No, sir.
The hell you aren't.
Jason.
What are those things on your teeth, ma'am?
Braces.
Now,
because I got tired of biting my goddamn tongue every time I chew.
If you don't quit.
Jason, you think you know everything. You know some things, but you don't know everything. It's like Mike Epps and jumping the broom. I know some. I may not know everything, but I know some things.
Okay.
Oh, man, I got tired of biting my goddamn tongue.
Now, let me tell you all how this is going to happen.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
All right. She's in her late 40s. She's been to the...
No, I'm 49, Jason.
That's late 40s, ma'am.
Yeah, but just say 49. Shit.
All right. She's in her late 40s. Now, here's why this is significant. Now, resolution's not as great as it should be here, but let me guess. You've had that manacle there on your teeth for a year or two.
No, I just got it in January this year.
Okay, well, almost a year. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's not within the last 30 days or something. You've had that for a minute. All right, that means you had to be sized up for them, though, over the course of the last year. So you've had to already get that work done. And that means you already made that decision a while ago, because people don't just jump up in their late 40s and decide to get that because you've lived most of your life without them. So to make such a radical decision at this point, you're doing that for a reason. Well, I didn't want to bite down on things. I imagine.
No, but here's the thing. Back in the day, Jason, it wasn't as easy to get braces.
Okay, why don't you let me tell you what the issue here is? The issue here is women do not get braces after the age of 30 because for their underbite. They're getting them because they are enhancing their appearance, and there's nothing wrong with that.
True.
Now, what comes next is you're going to have a new hairstyle in about a year.
I just cut all my hair off. Literally cut all my hair off.
Did I call it?
I got a
or
face.
Did I call it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, assuming, of course, you're not on chemotherapy. Hopefully that's not the case.
No, I'm not. No.
Okay, then that means that you have plans for that, unless the traction alopecia done got a hold of you. She's got plans for that scalp. She's got plans for that scalp. She wants to go in a new direction. That's what she's trying to do. So when you start seeing a convergence of things, they're going and getting their teeth done, getting their hair done. The only thing she hasn't got, you got some contacts around there?
Oh, no. You said I got my specs. I don't do contacts, no.
Not yet.
No, I don't do contacts. I don't like them, no.
Not yet.
No, I'm telling you, I don't like contacts.
All right. The only thing missing is the gym membership.
I work out.
Did I call it or did I call it?
Well, what's wrong with working out, Jason?
I didn't say there was in it. Everything
well.
is right with it. That's why you had to go get your teeth done, because you needed everything to come together. Everything needed to converge. They don't do. Y'all don't never do just one thing. Everything is converging together. It's not to be ultra competitive. Doesn't mean you fix one thing. Ultra competitive people have to do multiple things, because you got, especially if you're dealing with deficits. She said, okay, let me get my teeth done. Let me get my hair done. Let me go ahead and get this extra 30 pounds off. She's getting ready to rumble next year. She's getting ready to rumble next year.
But what's wrong with that? If I was getting ready to rumble next year, what is wrong with that?
I'm predicting by her timeline is going to be by next summer. That's what she's aiming for. She's aiming for next summer.
Oh, good night.
And she's in California.
I'm going back to Florida, Jason. I'm just out here to work.
That ain't no better. That's even worse.
I'm from Florida, Jason. I'm a Floridian.
Okay, that's even worse. That's even worse. So yeah. Now the reason I'm doing this, very simple reason here, for the younger cats out there. When you've had enough experience and you've seen enough things, then you see all the signs and everything comes together. And I ain't hating on the game. I'm all for it. But once you've lived a certain amount of time, you should be able to spot these things and see these things. And don't let nobody tell you it ain't what it is. Yes, it is, because there's nothing you can do with those things on your teeth at this point except make yourself look better. And that by itself isn't going to move the needle very much, which means you're going to have to do a number of things. And what do you know she is? Well, I'll be damned. Some poor sap in Florida next year is going to be in a world of trouble.
Oh, Lord.
Some poor sucker next year is going to be in a world of trouble.
No, sir. Have mercy on me, Jason. Come on now.
She been scheming on him for 5 years. That's going to be a wrap.
Hey, shit.
She going to be 50 years old. She going to go grab some 62-year-old. What? Oh,
62.
Pops, baby, you can. How you think it's going to go?
Wah, wah, wah.
Man, look here. You don't quit.
Jason, I know you know a lot of things, but man, that's not no sir.
Okay, what you gonna do? Go get some young dude who can't do nothing for you?
No, I like around my age. I don't know.
Okay, baby, around your age don't like you. That's the problem. So what I'm telling you is
exactly. So that's why I'm working on me, and I'm okay with that.
I'm glad to hear that.
You know, I'm okay. I'm okay with that.
And you gonna be okay with, and you gonna be okay with that 60-year-old too when you get back there. It's only a 10-year difference.
If I do a 60-year-old, he better have a young mind, young body, healthy.
It does. Here's the crazy thing about it. That won't matter. And the reason the reason it won't matter is because y'all gonna get in where you fit in, and she gonna talk him up as if she gonna be like, oh, I just love having me a fellow with gray hair. Get the hell out of here. That y'all all say the same damn lie. Oh, this, that, and the other. They try to talk it up and whatnot. I'm like, okay, this nigga's toe hair is gold, is grayed out. But y'all gonna talk it up. It doesn't matter what he does. You're gonna say he has a young mind anyway. It doesn't matter what he does. So just they gonna talk it up no matter. That's what they do, y'all. They talk him up. They go get grandpa and they go talk it up.
That's not true. Not everybody.
Baby, as long as his income is stable and he got some benefits, you gonna be like, I'm settling down.
You know what the fuck up? No, man.
She's gonna go try to find her some physical therapist down there in Miami. She's gonna try to go find a physical therapist down there in Miami who's working on his third marriage. She gonna go try to get that, and she gonna make it do what it do.
I'm gonna hurt you. You better be glad I don't know what you look like, cause I'm come looking for you. That's not true.
She gonna make it do what it do, y'all. She gonna be down there in Sunrise or Hollywood or something. She gonna try to make it do what it do down there. That's it.
Yeah. And what's crazy, I can count on my hands how many times I've been to Miami. 3 times. Down there.
She about to be doing a whole lot more. You say that every time I talk to you, you keep saying that lie. But in any case here,
whatever.
She gonna go grab some fella out here trying to get his pension, and she gonna be like, okay, here we go.
No.
Last train leaving.
I'm trying to grab you. I want to know what it's like to shoot a bow and arrow, shit, and sleep in the goddamn woods.
No, baby, look
I'm down for that.
No, you need hazard pay to fool with me. You need hazard pay to fool. If you can't sprint, I'm not the guy to be around. Let me just tell you right now. If you can't
like
sprint
and running?
It's not about if you like it. You're gonna need it. So it's just you need to be ready before you get there.
I'm down for it. That's why I'm in the gym.
Okay, well, look here. When you get that 40-yard time down, then we can holler at about then. But no, you got somebody's daddy you need to be hollering at down there in Florida. That's the last thing in the world you need. Last thing in the world you need is to be caught out in the middle of Arizona with me. That's the last thing you need.
Oh yeah, Arizona is hot. I was just cleaning out the balcony off the extended stay. Man, it's hot as hell out there. Damn.
Not at midnight. It's not. Not at midnight in the desert. It's not.
Well, out here in California, it's hot as hell. It feels like daytime out there, and the sun is down. It's hot.
You need to go up north in the mountains.
You know, I was up there in Mad River, so that was like 2020.
Yeah, it snows. For those of you who don't know, like in California, we start heading north, it snows up there. So when you get outside of Los Angeles and all that, y'all, it snows up there in those areas there. Beautiful mountains, except they're really steep. They're real steep-shaped mountains. When you go to Interstate 5, they're steep. So climbing them and stuff like that, though, that's just out of the question. Be careful when you're driving. But when it does, and the freeway is impassable. It is that California is not, you think Louisiana's bad. California is not for snow by any stretch of the imagination. But if you could be there, and if you can be in a civilized part of it, with a view of it, it's gorgeous. Now, what you doing out there with the Chinese?
Huh?
What are you doing out there with the Chinese?
The Chinese?
Yeah, what you doing out there with them?
I ain't doing shit. I ain't even eating their food. I'm just working with them.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Well, definitely, like I say, if you can go those places, if you've ever have a chance to do that, everyone, that's another thing you might want to check out there as well. I've never been a snow person. I'm starting to get used to it, which is really weird. I guess as I'm getting older. You talk about picking up weird quirks. The only weird quirk I'm picking up is I used to hate the snow. I used to despise the snow. I've been caught in like 2 major snow. I guess climate change has caught me twice in Shreveport in 2 major storm events. So I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm actually starting to get more used to it. I didn't say I'm going to like it, but I'm actually starting to get more used to the snow. So I don't know if you're going to see me on the slopes in Aspen anytime soon, but it's something I've gotten less of a problem with. So if you're heading to Northern California, you all, that might be something you want to check out in that regard. It'll be well worth your while. She already knows about that. I'm just mentioning it because that's what I do. In your case, however, you need to be going through the AARP magazines and see if you can sit up here and, sing your life and, baby, look here, you the hot young chick for them niggas. You got the advantages with them. What you talking about? You got the advantages with them. Yes, you can be the young hottie with them.
Shit, hell.
Yeah, she gonna get some Morgan Freeman looking dude, and she can be the young hottie with him, y'all. She will be the hot one with him.
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, he gonna be telling his friends, yeah, I got this 49-year-old chick over here. She gonna holler at me. Yeah, she want me to come through. And even when she turns 50, he'll be all right. He'll be like 64, 63, 65. Yeah, I got this 50-year one on here. She a travel nurse down there. Yeah, she got a beautiful smile on her too there. So you'll be able to, baby, you'll be running the yard.
Bye, Jason. Let me listen to the show. You're full of shit.
I'm trying to give them game here. Lie. It's my show, all right. Try to teach them something. Don't worry, y'all. She's going to find Grandpa's gone wild. Florida's got a whole bunch of retirees. She'll find some old dude and whatnot. His chest hair is all gray. What? She'll find an old dude with gray chest hair. So I haven't had that issue yet. Now, I will say that one. I'm not gray. I've been fortunate enough. I guess I've kept a bunch of stress away from me. I've still got all black hair. And I don't have to dye it or color it or something. But yeah, most of them fellas get around my age and they're just all grayed out and they look like a bunch of old ass men. And then when they cross over into 50, So I think I'm going to be able to stay. I think I'm going to be able to stay with black hair at least until my 60s. At the rate that I'm going, I think I'll make it at least until my 60s. The rest of them fellas down here, they already through this. They already gone. It's crazy. It's already a wrap. They ain't gonna make it. She gonna be able to hang out with them fellas down there and whatnot as soon as they get ready to retire and get their pension and they sitting there at Disney World. She'll be sitting there with them and it's like, okay, it'll work out. She'll be sitting there with them and it'll work out. Don't worry, baby. When you take a look at that rent, you'll be like, okay, this. Get on social media lying about it. If the nigga can walk straight, she'll be like, okay, that's good. What's them old man activities? You know what she won't be doing? She won't be showing him in the gym deadlifting 400 pounds. What? No, that they won't be doing. You won't be seeing that part. So whoever it is, he got to have a young mind. It's like, okay, as soon as that fella look at something look like a barbell. Oh, that's the hello part when they get their age and whatnot. They start picking up the little girl barbells and stuff. They got the little lightweight ones. That was a hell of a thing. I was looking at Frank Zane, former Mr. Olympia. I'm like, he's 81, 82 years old now. I'm like, okay, and I'm seeing with these little old weights he was lifting. I'm like, okay, well, he is Frank Zane. He's earned the right to do some little weights at this point. But I'm like, oh, boy. I'm trying to go out like Ronnie Coleman. I'm trying to do that. I'm not trying to do the lightweight thing. So they'll go get them grandpa here and whatnot. And, I like salt and pepper hair. This nigga most salt and pepper. And they got the old man stuff there, like when he's sitting on the little inner tube down there. Everybody else is going out in the water. He's sitting on the inner tube and whatnot. It's got the grandpa stuff. You trying to make him look young and sporty. It's like, okay. Everybody sees that he looked like the fella from the Dos Equis commercials. She won't have to tell him how things really went down. Hey, at least the nigga can't run on you. So at least he won't be able to run on you, so at least that'll work out. High income does not make you high value. Told you that forever. But the internet is full of folks who believe what they wish to believe. Even if it doesn't actually make logical sense to it, if they was what they want to believe. Cam Newton is a low value man. He's just got a high income. One more reminder here for any of the dumbasses out there who talk about net worth. First of all, you don't know what these people's worth is. You have no clue what it is. Forbes magazine and the rest of them try to make estimations and guesstimations, but nobody's holding to that. Net worth is not net income. What? For the folks out there who don't know the difference, net worth is not net income. So just thought I'd throw that in there for you. If these folks had $200 million, would they be hosting a YouTube program? Think about that for a few moments. Shouldn't they have bigger things to fry? I'm just saying. That'd be like saying, Jay-Z, when you gonna start your podcast? Are you serious? Hey, look, do what you do, but whoever you are out there, ladies, word of warning, Cam say he wants some more kids. Do humanity a favor. Baby, go get you a job. Leave these old pollinating niggas where they at. Go get you a job. You sitting up here trying to fight 5 and 6 other women for some child support. And then you still got to go get a job. It's like the judge done gave you $2,000 a month. You thought you was going to do something slick. This man went off and had 10 kids, and the judge is saying, okay, well, each of y'all get $2,000 a head. You thought you were on your way to the Fendi store. Ooh, I'm going to have a baby by Nick Cannon. She's sitting there at the Bentley dealership. She's sitting there with the baby bump at the Bentley dealership. Ooh, I want this Ben Tigers. You sitting up here picking out options. She ain't a bit more read the law to see what's really about to happen. Baby, you would have been okay if you had a kid by another nigga. You got one by Nick Cannons. The kids will be okay. They're gonna have all the Similac and diapers they need. You, on the other hand, yeah. No, that's not gonna make it. No, they thought they were going to get $100,000 a month or something crazy like that. That's what they think is going to happen. They think they're going to get Cam Newton's kid, and then they're going to go to court and get him to pay $25,000 a month or something like that. That's what they think is going to happen. Like, baby, he got 8 kids already. Every time they have another kid, that knocks down how much they're required to give. That's the real thing. When fellas go real feral and go real degenerate, they just crank out a bunch of kids. Okay, that knocks down how much they got to pay per kid now. I mean, if he really wants to go scorched earth, it's like, well, hell, if I got to pay a grip for one kid, let me go ahead and get 8 or 10. Now I ain't got to give you much of nothing. Ma'am, you'd be a whole lot better off. Just stop this foolishness. Go get you a job. Go ahead and do that. Get you a job with a fellow with a future. But water seeks its own level. Water seeks its own level. Don't you fellas out here get caught up with that? We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. If you are new here to the business, welcome to the program that all your favorite YouTubers love to hate watch. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we're here. If you haven't been to our Patreon, the link is in the description. Got some things going down this weekend here. We've been waiting for a little while here, so it's time to go ahead and get with it and get it kicked off. We're going to be doing that as well. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to tonight's program. Thank you for watching live or recorded. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of The Business. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, Mr. Jason Black. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, handle your business or your business will handle you.